So, oh my God, Joey Targaryen. There's the character we need to invent for the LCB. If you're listening, Stool Animated, make Joey Targaryen. He wears a big gold chain. He's got like really spiky short hair. Yeah, he doesn't have the long like Targaryen like blonde locks. He has like spiky blonde hair.
It's hotter than a dragon's ball sack out here.
Yeah, I am going down the shore in fucking King's Landing.
Hey, you dorn cocksucker.
Welcome to Lights Camera Barstool, episode 49 of season 2 of LCB. Jeff Lowe, Ken Jack, Chris Castellani, Gooch joining us. We have a packed episode today. A lot to get to here. We have She-Hulk, even bigger news, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones new series debuted on HBO Max on Sunday.
Chris thinks it's his second best show on HBO on the Sunday to Monday split.
Behind what?
Behind what? Rehearsal?
Hard Knocks.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, of course. I haven't watched the third episode yet, but yeah.
Hard Knocks. Used to fucking love it. We also have Bodies, A24's. I mean, it labeled as a slasher movie, but we can talk about that. Part of the fun, I guess. Won't spoil anything in the beginning here. We have 2 interviews as well. Katie Aselton from The League, among other things, has the new movie coming out. And then Michelle Monaghan, the closest we've ever gotten to the source of if Tom Cruise's ass is real or fake in Valkyrie.
She was the only actor who has ever portrayed a character who was intimate with Tom Cruise. That is actually the closest person.
We've never had someone on who was a legitimate one-to-one co-star, intimate with any Tom Cruise character. This one obviously being Ethan Hunt. She was in Mission Impossible 3, and also she was in other ones as well. She's in Ghost Protocol.
I really don't remember.
I always mix up both titles. I almost said the second one.
Rogue Nation.
Yeah, Rogue Nation's the second. Wait. Yeah, Rogue Nation.
It's what do you call it? Ghost Protocol, then Rogue Nation, then...
Because they activate Ghost Protocol on the train, which as a super fan of the franchise, you think I would remember, I will always mix them up. They activate Ghost Protocol on the train.
The Rogue Nation is the one that's run by that main bad guy that is then reprised in Fallout.
Correct.
Whose name I forget.
She was in Ghost Protocol, and then she was in a much bigger role in Mission Impossible Fallout. We talked to her, had a great time with her. So a lot going on here today. First up, the episode of Lights Camera Barstool is brought to you by Roman. Testosterone. We're doing like a testosterone test, I believe, soon. Did you see that email?
Oh yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah.
It'd be very funny if they published everybody at the company's numbers.
I mean, I think we have to talk about it. I think we're gonna have to talk about it. I mean, what is to be like? What is there to lose?
Absolutely.
I don't care. I was like, yeah, we'll do it. It's an important part of a man's body and health. A man's testosterone starts to deplete with age, which is why it's important you support it early. Signs of a low T can include a decline in energy, stamina, weight gain, hair loss, low sex drive. And Roman testosterone support supplements were designed by real doctors to help men maintain their body's natural testosterone production. 6 nutrients in the daily supplements help support testosterone levels, bone health, also muscle development. So I guess we're gonna do some sort of test, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Don't want weak bones.
No, that's why you drink milk.
Mm-hmm.
Milk supports the bones. Yeah. Whole milk though. I don't drink. I haven't drank whole milk in.
I don't think I've ever had whole milk my whole life.
My mom would never buy it. She would always buy 2%.
Yeah, we were 2%. I mean, if I drink milk now, it's skim milk.
Yeah.
Which is basically just water. Like in comparison, but I like it, so it's fine. Yeah, I haven't had whole milk in a long time.
No testosterone in it though.
No, none. Get Roman.com, ROMAN.com/lights to get $15 off your first order of Roman tea support. That's GetRoman.com/lights, GetRoman.com/lights. Pick up some dick wipes while you're at it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what they call them, but I mean, it would be if we've done that read before. A lot to get to. But first, actually, I think you're gonna have to go over to your computer to share these. I gotta play 2 videos here.
Oh boy.
Cameo. So I'm on Cameo. Have not been active. I need to reactivate it. I don't know why I don't. Really stupid. Great way to have a small income on the side. But Cameo has done this thing, or not. They haven't done it, but more recently, I've seen these on Instagram.
Rick Hoffman.
We have celebrities,
micro celebrity, Z-listers.
You have these. This actually happened to Snooki recently. Snooki was given a cameo. Nicole Palizzi, real name, given a cameo request, ended up being part of like a political campaign in Pennsylvania.
Dr. Oz? Like,
yeah, it was
one
against
of the ones are going on.
It was against Dr. Oz. It was like a whole thing about.
Hello,
like,
everyone.
Being
It is
New
Rick
Jersey.
Hoffman from Suits.
Pause. So this is as you just heard, Rick Hoffman from Suits. This just came on my Instagram feed. Just hit play.
Hello, everyone. It is Rick Hoffman from Suits. Hey, what do you do to wind down and relax? I recently have found this game that completely takes my mind off everything called Royal Match. Now, Royal Match is just this basically puzzle game where you've got all these fun levels, great puzzles. It's free. There's no Wi-Fi required. Gorgeous graphics, smooth animations, and most importantly, check this out, no ads. Zero, thank
You
God.
are the ad,
Click
brother.
below, download Royal Match. You let me know if I'm wrong. Okay? Take care, guys.
I mean,
Hello, everyone.
he starts off fairly genuine, right?
Yeah.
Like off the top, it's fairly. Oh wait, we'll do the next one next. So then I tweeted that out. Somebody then shared. They said check this one out. I think this one's better. This one's fucking amazing.
Play the full Kevin.
I'm filming a
Sorbo.
movie
We
in
need the
beautiful
full-
Israel right now, but I got some really cool stuff to pass on to you. You need to check out the hot new mobile game, Cookie Bonanza 2. It's a cookie-based puzzle game and a farming simulator from the makers of Pretzel Casino. Cookie Bonanza 2. Blasting up dough goblins while teasing them with your frosting cannon and win real-world money. How cool is that? And how much fun is that going to be? You better do it, okay? You better do it. I'm filming a
But
movie
they
in
cut off the ending part where it blacks him out and it says 5 minutes later, Kevin Sorbo was run over by an IDF Humvee and died. R.I.P. Kevin Sorbo. Got I think he said cookie coins are 50% off for the next week in honor of him. It's so fucking funny. And they see like Kevin Sorbo to me is the perfect like cameo celebrity. You know what I mean? Where like he's not getting cast in shit outside of like Daily Wire movies or whatever. So like when he's just like on there making like random like fake ads and like saying like, hey, your Uncle Jim wants to say like happy birthday or whatever. Like, yeah, that's Kevin Sorbo's lane right now. Hercules is done. It's time for him to do cameo.
He absolutely and Rick Hoffman from Suits, which I didn't really like. I watched Suits like a little bit.
He's like the third most recognized character on the show.
Louis Litt, right?
Yeah, he's the guy who goes for partner. I can't remember.
Yeah,
his name.
he does. I had not seen all of Suits, but I know that episode. Yeah. Meghan Markle's on that show. I mean, most
Very
people know
random.
That's the only thing I really know about it.
She's on there. Yeah.
That's one of the few USA Network shows I just
What's her
never
name?
got into.
Rachel Zane, right?
Yeah, I know it was Rachel. I didn't know the last name. Yeah.
That's a cool name too. Damn.
I can't get enough of those. They're unbelievable.
When he said dough goblins.
Blasting up dough goblins.
That's one of those ones. Like I think the first one's a legit app. The second one was completely fake.
Yeah,
that Sorbo
because-
just fell for it. Like
Because people said they tried to look for it and nobody could find it.
Also, in the video with the first guy, Rick Hoffman, the way he was holding, like his shoulders had to hurt so bad.
He's holding
Yeah.
it like the way he's holding the
like
phone.
all the way up here.
And it's like the way he he starts off so genuine, and you can tell he was gonna one take that no matter what, because he's like it's basically a puzzle, like what and can't deliver that line, and then later on when he's like, and check this out, no ads, and like it just gets me. I can't get enough of those. Like I simply can't, because I do wonder if there's a point with some of those. I want to look up how much he cost. I wonder if there's a point with some of those where like I'm not doing this one. Like I can't fucking do it. Like I just can't.
Well, I think most actors have like a whatever, like a disclaimer, like don't make me do an ad, I won't accept it. And like we've tried to do that many times with cameo celebrities, like got them to like endorse LCB, and there's like, no, we're not doing it. I think Bumgarner was one of them who refused to do something.
Yeah, Brian Bumgarner wouldn't fucking do it. Whatever. He's a friend of the company. I have nothing positive to say about Brian Bumgarner. Probably a nice guy. Don't give a fuck. If he was here, I'd shake his hand. That's like from Frost Nixon. He's like, I'm not going to shake his hand. I'd fucking shake his hand, and I'd be a complete loser. And I'd be like, you're great. I love you. I love when you spill the chili. It's great. But nah, he is in terms of in the universe of the show. Fuck him,
dude. We so
he
this is a
fuck
little
him.
a peek behind the curtains. We get like emails like just with different celebrities that are coming around New York and like what they might be doing and like what they're promoting, whatever. We just get an email about Brian Bumgarner. It says Brian Bumgarner, the ultimate Kevin Chili cookbook or whatever it is that he's promoting right now. And I was like, hey, I thought it was fake. I thought like we were being punked by like a random LCB listener, but no, very real. The guy, he embraced it, which I guess I got to respect.
Oh my God. Did we lose Chris? Where'd Chris go? You have to go let Chris
Detroit
back
connection,
in.
baby.
All right, let's start. You may have to go let him back in. Actually, that's very convenient for you. You are sitting so far away from your computer.
I can, if you're in my StreamYard, Robbie, I can let him in once he's back.
I am.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Let's do House of the Dragon first. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, based off an existing book series from George R.R. Martin. I might have added an R in there. Go watch the movie RRR, by the way, on Netflix.
Usually people edit R's out of things.
Yes. Go watch it it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
It's
Very good
fucking
movie.
incredible.
I actually rewatched the first half of it this weekend with one of my friends I was visiting.
It fucking rules. Like rules. One of the best movies.
Dudes Rock movie.
Yeah. Check it out. Absolutely check it out. Game of Thrones, though. I think over the last couple weeks, people started, including us, maybe, I know, Gooch, you were in on the show before we were, and I think everyone kind of clowned it for a little while. And like, the idea like, oh, they're going to have 20 Game of Thrones spinoffs and all this shit. But once you start to, if you didn't know about the show, didn't know about the backstory, once you start to put the pieces together, it made sense this show was going to at least be good and maybe better than that. Too early to tell if it's better than good. I mean, I think it was a really good first episode. Will the series be great? I hope so. But fantastic start, I thought. I'm not totally surprised. Obviously, people online were surprised. Like, we talk about this shit every week. So at this point, like, knowing what it was based on, knowing it was going to be much more similar to older Thrones, like, didn't really catch me off guard. But people yesterday were very pleasantly surprised last night when it came out. I thought it was excellent. Like I said, harkens back to old Thrones. It just has that feel. It even has that feel in terms of, like, the fucking how graphic and gory it is, too.
Dude, when they cut I mean, we'll get into it, but...
Bro.
Yeah. We're going to spoil it. Look, the show's out already. If you really care, I feel like you're going to have seen it by the time this podcast comes out.
Game of Thrones is a live event. That is one of the few shows that is like you're watching like a live sports event, basically.
That video, one of our followers put it out. I can't remember. I'll pull up his name, of the apartment building in New York City. And it was just like the side of it. And you could see like at least half the rooms were just all watching Thrones. And it's just such a insane, like...
It's crazy, and people were excited to have it back, and people were hesitant, but I think now people are happy. Yeah, I thought it was an excellent start. I'm very excited. I thought the setup in the beginning was great.
Be killing it. Shout out BK.
Just kind of gave us a good table setter for what to expect. No intro.
Yeah, there's gonna be one next week.
I know. I figured as much based on the end credits is a redone version of the theme. It sounds fucking amazing. It sounds excellent. Yeah, I thought we'll get more into it, but I mean, there's not much more to say than that from me off the top. I thought it was really good. Ken Jack.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good too. I think it's going to be kind of hard with doing this series just because that world is obviously so lived in. Like we spent a decade in that Game of Thrones world, especially in King's Landing. So the one thing, like and it's not even necessarily a con. The only thing I took away from it that was like I am ready for the room for improvement in this moving forward is like establishing its own identity and being its own thing versus being like what feels like extra episodes of Game of Thrones. And that's the only big critique, other than Prince Daemon's armor looking like, especially his helmet looking like it was made out of plastic from Party City. That was wild to me. Like you could see the
strange.
ear.
You
the
jinxed it
Batwing
too.
things, they were moving. Yeah, no, I did because I tweeted. I was like, his fits are so cool, and then he puts on the jousting hat or helmet, and you can see it like bending every time he jostles. But whatever. The actors are all awesome. Matt Smith, ultimate creepy face actor, dude. Patty Considine, I thought crushed it.
Yeah, he was I think he was easily the strongest in the episode. He was so fucking good.
Dude, he ate those scenes up. He was super, super good. Obviously, the violence is all there. The sex is all there. All the things we remember. Just like, I think that's the only thing I want to see more of moving forward is just more. They're really, truly establishing everything being different. And one thing I thought that was really cool right off the top that they did was that opening sequence where they showed the dragon flying in and like no one gives a shit. Like everyone's just like yeah, that's life here. The dragons are around. And like meanwhile, throughout obviously all of Game of Thrones, it was like the big moment for every single character is when they first see the dragon, and nobody could give a shit in this. I thought that was a cool way to introduce this world.
Yeah, I agree with everything said.
Chris, are you big Thrones? I don't know if we've ever talked about it.
No, I've never seen an episode, and I would have watched last night, but I had a busy weekend, and I was in the theater for Bodies when
it'd be kind of cool for you to go from here through to Thrones, like you prequel. Yeah, you don't know what to expect.
That's why I'm intrigued. My one question is though, and maybe I've misjudged it from the beginning, and I apologize, but like I thought the world was collectively done with Game of Thrones. Like every tweet I saw 3 years ago was how Game of Thrones ruined people's lives. It was the worst finale of all time. It ruined the show. It was responsible for the deaths of millions. And now they do a spinoff, and everyone's like, Thrones is back. Like,
I think people were hesitant though.
I think it's because this has source material, whereas the final 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, they were just making shit up.
That's a really good point.
But I think for you who didn't know that, I think it was enough time. You couldn't have done this a year after you could have, but you would not have had. There's a little more goodwill because it's been separated long enough. People have kind of moved on from it a bit, where you can bring people back in. I do think the timing ended up working out perfect for them.
And I think when you're doing a prequel and not a sequel to, especially something that, what's this, 200 years in the past? Yeah, like it's essentially a different, like it's the same universe, but it's so entirely different from what was already connected before that I feel like you can kind of start from scratch. So no, I do promise I am going to watch it. I am going to go episode by episode starting with this. It was just the schedule didn't work out, and I apologize for that, but I am going to watch.
I will say this off what Ken Jack said. You mentioned about not wanting it to just feel like a bunch of new Thrones episodes. I did see a comment either in our Discord or our Reddit where somebody asked, like, I would have liked, like, I'd like this to feel different than Thrones. And again, I would not. One of my other big things too, and then I'll let you give your thoughts, Gooch. I do love the idea that we're stripping away like the big event, like the theories, all that shit. Like we don't. If you want to do that, go look it up, because I just assume you can just go find. You can spoil it for yourself, so be careful. Like if you haven't read the books and don't know, be careful, because if you try to look things up, you're just going to get the actual answers this time. Unlike Game of Thrones.
From what I understand about the book that this is based on, though, is that it's more of like it's like a Rashomon style recollection of events. It's not even like a book like what the Thrones is based on. It's more like a historical text from different people's point of view. So there's like a lot of like bad, like unreliable narrator stuff going on, where it's like there's stuff that was left up to interpretation for the readers that the show will like cement.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Well, yes, and I guess people have said like, hey, if you've read the stuff, you know the material, it may or should get a little different.
And from what I understand, George R. R. Martin, like straight up, like he set lore in the first episode. Like A Song of Ice and Fire thing was like a big lore thing that like he like pretty much made up right then and there. I liked it a lot. I mean, I liked it a ton. I feel like you were saying that you didn't want this to feel like too much like Game of Thrones, and I'm just like, I kind of do, because I don't feel like it's an oversaturated genre. I feel like we don't get enough fantasy on television. Like it's really this and The Witcher, pretty much. I guess if you want to talk Wheel of Time, but I know that sucked. I haven't watched it.
No, we're not.
And then we'll see how the Lord of the Rings plays. I still have high hopes for Lord of the Rings. I think people were saying like Lord of the Rings shouldn't even come out now, but I'm like, I still think it's probably going to be good too. Yeah, I love high fantasy. Love the genre.
I would say to compare it to what you said is just like, I think about it almost like, imagine with Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, right? Like when they had the Mandalorian episodes, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. But then like, that's like a different type of expectation than from Game of Thrones, right? Where like, I feel like they're on a premier level of television where it's like, they should be able to do something that establishes a very separate identity. And if it fails and fucks up, kind of like Boba Fett did with like their actual Boba Fett stuff, like sure, whatever. But like, I would like for them to like really strike the iron and be like, this is us. This is the identity of our show.
I think we'll get there. I think it'll take about 6 episodes though. I think it'll take about 6 episodes for it to like really define itself.
I saw those.
I'm fucked on character names.
Episode 6 are crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, get used to it. I was in the same boat. I have no idea.
I've got him down now.
Well, I got no
Damon
shot.
and Viserys.
Oh,
Damon
that's
Viserys
Lady Misery,
Rhaenyra.
baby. Lady Misery.
Yeah. A lot of actors and actress names we're going to be tossing around. That's going to be the easiest way for me to do. Matt Smith. I also was. I was worried about the Matt Smith character, as I've said all along. Matt Smith is Matt Smith to me. Everyone's
It
great
here though.
It does.
He looks like walking around in real life, he just looks like a Game of Thrones character. Like,
yeah,
I mean, he's just he's the most British person to ever live.
Literally,
he beat out Benedict Cumberbatch 3 years running now. He's so British looking. It's insane.
That's why it's like to put long hair on him is just, I don't know.
It's a Legolas wig.
Like, it looks good. Yeah, it was a very solid start to that show. I was surprised how I knew it was going to be graphic and brutal, but I didn't know if they'd try to.
I mean,
it's a different time than when the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones came out. I didn't know if they would maybe dial it back a bit. They did not.
They said they're going to dial back like straight up like sex scenes and nudity, but
right.
I mean, and then you get let's talk about that Matt Smith's awkward body
from the back,
back shots.
Yeah.
Matt Smith giving back shots, letting the crowd.
The tiniest little rabbit stroke back shots. I was like, oh, Prince Daemon can't lay pipe. People are saying.
That was a storyline though with the last Thrones. Dude, remember, like halfway through, people talked about nudity and stuff.
He wasn't nutting. He was not gonna nut. He must have been using the Roman swipes.
Yeah, he was on Daemon off the swipes. He's like, I can't do it today. I'm off my Lexapro, baby. It's just like, I fucking love this guy, man.
It's not you. I took an Adderall today.
Have they announced how many episodes each season is going to be, or at least this season is going to be?
I think 12.
12.
Yeah. Could be 10. I think the first season of Game of Thrones is 10, right?
I think 8, maybe. It might be 10. 10 episodes for this season, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it felt like old Thrones. But yeah, like who was it that talked about like the nudity? It was like Amelia Clark, Natalie Dormer. I know they talked about it a lot. So I didn't know if they would dial back like how it was, but it felt very much like the early stages of Thrones, which I kind of laughed at because I saw some reviews where I saw a couple reviews, couple comments are like, is the mainstream audience going to buy into this like they bought into the last Thrones? This is like, there's so much politicking, this and that and all that. And then,
that's when it's really good.
That was Game of Thrones.
When they were sitting there in the council meeting, I was like, this is when Game of Thrones is cooking. This is where they really excel. It's like they're just going back and forth, and you're like, who's scheming against who? Who's paired up with each other? What's going on here?
The meeting with the Hand of the King, always the Hand of the King conversations. Dude, are always some of the best.
I already fucking hate him the most. Hightower.
Otto Hightower,
dude.
I don't know if you saw this. Coley tweeted.
He's like, go comfort the king.
Otto was like, or not Otto. Coley was like, a guy named Otto being in the Game of Thrones universe is just so weirdly out of place, and like that is a very regular name to be in the Game of Thrones versus Otto. Well, I guess not that regular, but it just feels out of place.
I need a character like Jimmy Tarley.
Yeah, exactly. Mikey Hightower.
Mikey Hightower. He's a defensive back at Georgia State.
Mikey Targaryen, or just oh my god, Joey Targaryen. There's the character we need to invent for the LCB. If you're listening, Stool Animated, make Joey Targaryen. He wears a big gold chain. He's got like really spiky short hair. Yeah, he doesn't have the long like Targaryen like blonde locks. He has like spiky blonde hair.
It's hotter than a dragon's ball sack out here.
Yeah, I am going down the shore in fucking King's Landing.
Hey, you Dorn cocksucker.
Dude, I love this. Please, Stool Animated. Make Joey Targaryen is what we're looking for right now.
Really, really good stuff, though. Looking forward to the rest of it.
It's nice to have a show that, like, I wish there was more TV like it, where it's just like you have a set time and everyone sits down and watches it.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I really do.
I also just like that this is not going to be a show that we bog down with like I will call it the Last Jedi problem, where it's everyone has their own theories and their own version of what needs to happen with these characters that they fucking obsess and cosplay over. And I say that knowing full well with self-awareness that we are guilty of that at times and at times still. But it's nice that like you're not gonna have to worry about that with this. It's like it's the show. The show will happen. We will have theories and things, but like it's not gonna be the only thing you talk about.
You're gonna wait until we hit mid-season and we spend 4 episodes at a casino in Dorne.
Hell yeah. Dorne would definitely be the Vegas of Westeros if there was ever going to be a place. It's like literally nothing but people having sex and like debauchery.
Oh, I know. Perfect. When they were like, "Oh, he's Dornish." Sir Kristen Cole. Yeah, that guy's about to be number one bachelor or whoever that actor is. I think his name is Fabian too, which is
something Cole.
Yeah,
oh,
Kristen
that guy.
Cole.
Yeah, he's gonna be the Doc Ray Montgomery or whatever of this season.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal, and Pedro Pascal played Oberyn and just blew up.
Dude, British people fuck.
So Thrones, shout out to House of the Dragon. Good stuff. Marvel. She-Hulk. Now, here's a show that people were just shitting on before it came out. Just absolutely, just endless runny dumps on this show in every way, shape, and form. The CGI, though the CGI got mildly explained pretty well by Corridor Digital, I thought. They talked about the uncanny valley of why Hulk works, because males, when recreated in like CGI like that, they have stubble and they have lines in their face, and females don't have that and typically are smoother looking people.
Oh,
and it
that's
is
interesting.
And that's why like it doesn't have some of those elements, and when it's a different color and like green, it looks weird. And they mentioned that which makes sense. They are graphics. They are GFX people, so they were like irritated. People said it looked awful. It doesn't look.
I saw.
Well, they said, look, like, does it look weird in spots? Like, but it doesn't look awful. They got mad at like the hyperbole of it, which is I will defend that. Did it look great? I didn't think so, but the hyperbole of it definitely dragged it down further than it probably needed to be dragged down.
It's weird though, because it's like
it wasn't
like,
Scorpion King, right?
No, but like you can give like any explanation for it, and like I don't have an answer to how to make it look more realistic, but it just did look bad. Like it just straight up looked bad.
But that is kind of the irony of it, is what you just said, is that there isn't really an answer to make it look better. It can only look so good when it's a human like that. Like it's just tough.
The answer was to make her not underjacked. The show already, I think She-Hulk, one of the most sexist shows in the country, for not making She-Hulk as jacked, if not more jacked, than the original Hulk. She's just like slightly large. Like you can barely even see definition in her arms. She's built, fucking Hulk.
She's built like Phoenix.
But see, that comes back. Yeah. That just comes back to a comic problem, though, right? Because like she never is. Like she's always that build in the comics.
Dude, let me tell you something, Marvel Studios. Fuck the comics. Do what the people want. We want the mega jacked She-Hulk that's carrying dudes around with her like 55-inch pythons. Like that's what I want out of She-Hulk.
You think it's possible as the season goes along, she gets progressively more jacked?
That would be amazing. She's like hitting the gym, like lifting freight trains, like be incredible. I would love that.
I found it enjoyable. Ken Jack and I missed the boat. We had 4 episodes to watch. We went to go watch them last Monday, and they were down.
They gave us 30 hours to stream 4 episodes of She-Hulk. What the fuck?
So we didn't watch them, which I'm actually kind of glad I didn't watch them now. So we got the first episode. I thought it was delightful. I thought it was very enjoyable, and I'll tell you what, the biggest thing that I've been very critical of the Marvel Disney Plus stuff. I think they only really landed one of them. I think only Loki landed in terms of start to finish.
Yes.
I think WandaVision was fucking fantastic and then just really kind of threw up all over itself at the end. All the other ones, to me, Ms. Marvel probably third in line for me because it started great and ended great. But again, middle, tough. The other ones just never really did it for me. They're okay. I think this has potential to be very fun because it's structured like a TV show. And it's not structured like a long movie broken up into a bunch of episodes. And that was always the problem with the other ones, where you're like, this just doesn't feel right. This felt right start to finish. If you didn't like it, I get it. That's fine. It's very meta. It's very fourth wall breaky. If you find that cringy, whatever. I thought the back and forth between Hulk, She-Hulk, I thought it was great. I think there's going to be some fun stuff. The referential stuff is like not jarring. It's just kind of enjoyable and funny. I don't know. I think I'm going to end up enjoying this. Probably more than most of the other ones, and I think the structure is why. I think the rest of them need to be structured. Now, granted, this one is literally structured like a parody of a law show, so that is a big reason why. But it's like, I don't know, maybe structure the others like a TV show as well, because the long movie broken up really has only worked for Loki, in my opinion. I think that's my big takeaway after one episode. It's also just simple, which is nice. Ken Jack, what did you think?
Yeah, I think the show had like a big uphill battle because like I think that early perception from the CGI was bad. Like, and I think for me, and I know other people think this too, but maybe it's not as widespread as I think. But like, I think the Hulk is the worst Avenger left out of the original grouping. I don't think they particularly fleshed him out that well. I don't think Ruffalo's interpretation of him is particularly great. It's just like doofy, shy Hulk. Like I'm not into it. I don't know. I know Bruce Banner's supposed to be that, but like even in Professor Hulk mode or whatever, or Smart Hulk, I just wasn't totally into it. And I don't know. I just think that the big thing that Hulk always needs is a good person to bounce off of. And I think that She-Hulk worked perfectly in that regard. I think both of them are super funny. The training sequence was very good. Like I like how they kind of made it where like she was able to catch on to everything way quicker and making him like more jealous. I thought that was a good, smart way to play it. I'm interested to see the law parts of this as it moves forward, because like they do say like right in the beginning, like, hey, this is a law show. We know you're not going to be able to move on until we see what, why or how I turn this way. But this is, so I'll give you a little break and show you how this worked. But I don't know. I really dug it. I thought it could there's definitely room for improvement on every Marvel show, but I think that for one that's so dependent on CGI and so dependent on the banter between Hulk and She-Hulk working, I was very impressed. I thought it was really, really good stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of the mystery aspect, like the Sicarian cruiser or whatever that had stopped them, which obviously the Hulk on Sakaar was one of the funniest arcs for him or any of the characters. And seeing who the Jamil character is, because I didn't look up anything about these character names or powers beforehand, so I want to know.
Yeah, Daredevil's going to show up soon. There's rumors maybe Jessica Jones. Like there's some cool stuff here. It's simple. I like that they kind of just ran into the story of who she is. Maybe a little too fast for some people's liking. The spaceship thing was cool with Hulk. That was clearly a Sakaar spaceship. That's like the one that Jeff Goldblum drove. Yeah, and
Ragnarok class cruiser or something.
So that was cool. Maybe some mystery there. Yeah. I don't know, Chris.
There are things about this that I like. Is it Tatiana Maslany? Is that the name of the actress? Okay. Once again, Marvel nails the casting. I think she's really, really good.
Yeah, they have a great casting department, very clearly.
They've done. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 misses in 14 years. Like, it's crazy how consistent they are casting the right people. And ultimately, I do like the structure, and I think the show can get better. I didn't care that much for the first episode. I think the writing for Marvel has completely fallen off. It doesn't seem like you guys were as bothered by the CG, but I'm sorry. Like, I was watching clips last night from the first Iron Man, which is a 14-year-old movie, and just how fucking good that movie looks compared to the modern CG, even like compared to like Love and Thunder, just how much better they use their budget in that movie. I know this is a TV show, but the reason I think this will get better is because I think there's going to be more focus on She-Hulk, because one thing that I don't think I've talked about on this show, but one of my biggest complaints with Marvel and what they've done, really going back to Ragnarok. I'm tired of Bruce Banner being a goddamn doofus. What happened with that? Because Bruce Banner, like, you go back and watch the first Avengers. Bruce Banner and Tony Stark are like, their intellectual, like, their back and forth is so much fun. And then you get like the Hulk. People forget the Hulk stole the entire third act of that movie. Like, he was on top of the world. People were like, dude, I want to see another Hulk movie. And I thought he was good in Age of Ultron. And it's one of the things I don't like about Ragnarok, which is now he's like just walking around like a fucking weirdo. I don't understand what's happening. It's why, like, and I haven't seen the movie probably in 13 years. So I'm going to go back and rewatch it at some point. I liked The Incredible Hulk because I like the fact that you took this character that is really fucked up. I mean, the Hulk is one of the most tragic characters in all of Marvel lore. And now he's, he might as well be wearing rainbow suspenders. Like, I don't understand what they've turned him into over really since Ragnarok. I think that's the problem that Marvel runs into, which is we don't know what to do with this character. Make him a joke. We don't know what to do with Thor.
Right.
Make him a joke. We don't know what to do with the Hulk. Make him a joke. We don't know what to do with Doctor Strange. Make him a joke. I really don't like that. Now, as we go forward, I have a strong suspicion, because the show is called She-Hulk, he won't be the main focus. So I could see myself liking the show more, but it's just, I'm just willing to accept at this point. Well, I'm sure there will be Marvel products and properties that I like going forward. I'm just not connecting with this universe right now. And that's fine. A lot of people are. And if they're enjoying it, because the general reception outside of people who are 1-star bombing it on IMDb just for no reason, the general reception has been very positive. So
it had a lot of 1-star reviews before it even came out. It was crazy.
Of course, which is to be expected. But like and you guys know I'm not one of those people. Like, I judge everything objectively. And I think it's so. I'm not crazy about it, but I didn't dislike it enough to think that this, like, it can't get better, because it's a very
it might absolutely be asked. Like, I'm actually not worried about Thrones at all. I think it's gonna be really good. Could there be like a dud episode? Yeah, I mean, that happens. Again, Ms. Marvel, I love the way it started, and then it kind of tailed off, and then it got great at the end. So we'll see. She could stink. We've only seen the first episode.
Yeah.
But
and it's relative to our expectations, which I think were low, which definitely helped it big time.
Yeah.
I also, the Hulk is a tough character to begin with, because, and I'm not making an excuse for them, but it's like, what more, like, dramatically and tragically can they do with him? Like, how many times can you just be like, hey, big guy? Like, I mean, can we do that for 20 years?
World War Hulk, baby.
I know, World War Hulk, yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. What'd you think, Coach?
It was fine. It's not a show that I'm going to wake up and, like,
I'm not staying up till 3 a.m. to watch the show. I will.
I have a lot of the same complaints as Chris. Where it's like, I think the writing was terrible, to be honest. Like, And let me preface it by saying I do hate women, so I do have a bias against this show. No, but yeah, I thought the writing was kind of weak, especially on the island when they do that conversation where they're talking about. It's like just I don't want to be like I don't want to be the anti-feminist guy, but it's like that feminism line where it's just like I have to worry every single day. It's like bake that into the story. Don't just say it. Show it.
Yep.
Don't make it. Show her dealing with like those problems. Don't just have her say it, and then show like what her life is like dealing with that stuff. Which I think
we talked about something with that recently, right? Where a show was like they didn't make a point to actually just say that sort of thing. Like Prey, for example, like in Prey, like that is a motif that they don't have to physically say out loud. The second like I feel like at this point, that sort of thing that like you're talking about, like it almost shatters the illusion that you're watching a show. Yes. Like the second they say a line like that, it stops you from watching this to being like now I'm like out of the world. I'm like totally out of it. I'm out of that sort of zone.
Yeah, it's like a 20-second line that it feels like it was put in there to just get cut and put on Twitter. Like that's what that's what it really felt like.
Which it was.
Yeah, exactly. The CGI, I thought they did an interesting thing with like just cutting and editing it. Like just they would cut away really quick on scenes they didn't want to show her transforming in because it's like you can tell they didn't have the biggest budget. And I think they said that they didn't have the biggest budget to show her transformations and do a lot of stuff with She-Hulk. The courtroom scene was edited terribly. Yes. There was like a million cuts there. But outside that, I mean, I've kind of gotten I've calibrated my expectations for these MCU Disney Plus shows on what they can be and what they will be. And this felt pretty par for the course.
It can just be a fun show.
Yeah,
that has stakes in the universe, but it doesn't have to feel like every show is a big event.
Yeah, no, and I think that's where we're at now. It's like they're just fun little add-ons. I don't think this is gonna have a major implication down the line.
Dude, just gotta make She-Hulk look like Fiona from Shrek, and we're good. That's the only thing. CGI department next season.
Awesome. It
would rock.
That would actually be awesome if she looked like if she was just built like just broad ass shoulders, like
dude, like a tank, like a little tuna can, like it'll be awesome. I love it.
You show her at the gym, just throwing back weight, like just whey protein, like jugs of it.
I just hope it doesn't do it. Remember how we talked about Ms. Marvel and we were like, oh, Ms. Marvel's doing like fun, different shit. And
I love the first two episodes.
It started to like go away from it and then it came back. That's what I hope doesn't happen to She-Hulk. Because if it starts to fall back into the trap, this could be the worst one because it is so goofy and different. But if it falls in line with what it tries to do, then it could be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Not to break topic, but I don't know if you guys got the email. We just got our screeners for Cars on the Road.
Yeah, we did get it, which was fucking irritating because when I see that email, when I see that, like that sender, I know it's a screener, and I thought it was going to be Andor.
Yep. Nope.
I have massive expectations for now. I think it's going to be great.
Clear my schedule. I got to watch Cars on the Road for the rest of the day.
I think Andor's a month away. I think it's going to be fucking awesome.
God, we have such a good little back half of the year coming between movies and television.
The couple early like leak reviews, because some people at Disney, like employees, have gotten Andor. I saw some comments and like the things they said that people might dislike about it are why I think we're all gonna love it. Like the Jason Bourne-y, like really I don't want to use the word gritty because gritty's always used too much, but like they say it's very Jason Bourne-like in terms of the way the universe works and the way that the characters are like portrayed and everything. That sounds awesome. Like I don't need
Hound. I love that.
That's what we want to see. I better not see one fucking lightsaber in this show.
Just shows like
if I see
Darth Vader watching a hologram.
I guess it would just be who knows, because there obviously are other Jedi out there. But
Jesus Christ, Cassian
Andor. Excited for that. Disney Plus Day, by the way.
Ooh.
September 8th. That's gonna be a big. Well, that's a big one though. Disney Plus Day is the day of the event. So that is a big one.
Is that the Saturday? Is that college football? Is that college football week?
No, it's a Thursday. It's a Thursday night. That'll be when I think we're going to get the Fantastic Four announced.
Wait, that's it. NFL kickoff night, isn't it?
Is it? Then it's during the day. Then it's during the day. Yeah. Hat Man Kevin Feige is going to announce the Fantastic Four. I'm convinced.
Do you think though, because they do this? Wait, let me think about this. No, that's opening for NFL. That's not on ESPN though, is it? The opening game.
It's on NBC.
Okay, because they like to do that. They did that with the Star Wars trailer.
It's Friday. It's Friday anyway.
Is it Friday? Okay.
It's Friday, September. Disney Plus Day is the 8th. D23 is the 9th. That's right.
Okay.
So there we go. That's when we should get the full Marvel slate announced because they've said that it's going to be bigger than Comic-Con. So this pod brought to you by BetterHelp. And a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp, will tell you that, guess what? You should be taking care of yourself like you take care of everything in your life. Apartment, house, car, computer, phone. Taking care of our minds, very important. So invest in that and do that, and BetterHelp is right there for you. Plenty of ways to support a healthy brain, but BetterHelp gives you lanes and ways to do it that are much easier. We've tried BetterHelp. It's fantastic. If you don't want to see somebody in person, which a lot of people don't, you don't have to with BetterHelp. Video, phone, live chat, therapy sessions. You don't even have to stare at somebody on the fucking computer if you want. You don't got to talk to a voice. You can just do chat. It makes it easy for you, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be concerned and want to miss an appointment because you don't want to see somebody's face. Much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours, which is huge. 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/lights. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lights. News time. Excuse me. I was like Tay Day there. Had to move away from the mic. Ezra Miller released a statement last week regarding his behavior.
That wasn't him.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he did not write that. This was on the heels of the rumor that there were 3 options. You can recap and I might get them wrong. One was it was going to be an apology press tour, right? Basically,
yep. It was pretty much exactly what he just did. Just one statement and then like limited press. Another one was
he was going to do it, but he was going to be a lot of him apologizing on the tour.
Okay, yeah.
Then one was like limited press in a statement, which is this is what it seems like, and the other one was like scrap the movie and recast him. No fucking way they're doing that. Like, I just think that seems very clear they're not going to do that. I think a lot of what The Rock is alluding to with Black Adam and that resetting universe is going to come along with this movie and how The Flash is going to apparently reset some of the DCU. That's the rumor just because of like what Flashpoint is. And for those who don't know, I mean, it's basically a multiverse movie. If you've seen the trailer, that's just what it is. It's just said differently. I don't even know if they'll use the term multiverse. I assume they won't.
Theirs is like infinite Earth is like what they call it or something like that.
Yeah, Speed Force is what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's the moment you like. I just don't know if they're going to use. I don't know if anyone in DC would use that term just to maybe avoid. Then again, they did say they want to take after Kevin Feige and Marvel.
I do think they use that term in DC Comics.
Interesting.
Multiverse. It's like multiverse, omniverse.
I'm curious how much it gets used in marketing and interviews and stuff because I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to like overlap and say that. But also, The Rock saying he's like, I think a DC Marvel crossover can happen.
I do think it will.
He's a moron.
I do too.
But it's like 20 years away.
You guys talked about it last week. He is annoying the shit out of me.
I'm so sick of it.
Dwayne Johnson hasn't read a page of a comic book in his entire life. I can say that with absolute certainty. And him like just putting the hammer down, constantly being like, this is the way things are. You don't know shit about fuck. You've made like 6 good movies your whole career. Stop it.
Him like taking the reins of DC and being like, we're going to cross over. He goes, it's going to happen. I'm like, all right, what are you going to cross over with right now?
You're making like a spin-off movie in the DC universe. How do you think you have the creative power to make, or like the capital to make this happen?
And
he might just solely based on the power he has in Hollywood, but it's like it's the mentality of like, I guarantee you this is the way things are.
No offense to the Black Adam character and to The Rock.
I hope it's great.
But I think like Ray Fisher and Cyborg have more the clout within the comic book world to be like,
absolutely.
If we're going to do a crossover and we got Iron Man and we got Cap and we got all these characters, they're crossing over with Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman.
Trinity. Yeah.
If they're crossing over with fucking Black Adam, we got, again, if you're like Cyborg, to be like, all right, okay, I can fuck with that. He was in Justice League. But you're like Black Adam, like, do we need Black Adam?
He'd be the latest. He'd be like the last entry in the Royal Rumble.
We'll talk about the poster in a second, but if we're talking about characters who are going to pop up in this crossover, Ned from Spider-Man has more crossover clout than Black Adam to me. So does
Marjorie Rice, whatever her character, Betty.
Betty, yeah. They released the Spider-Man and Home No Way Home is re-releasing, and they did like a character poster. They finally put all 3 Spider-Man on it, which was cool. But they put every fucking person who appears in that movie in that poster.
It's one of the funniest posters. It looks like a bad. It looks like the bad fan made poster edits. Like it.
It's like they heard everyone making fun of their posters, and they're like, "Let's do one even worse. Like let's do the worst version of it."
Like I know that it has something to do with the contracts that all these actors sign, where their agents basically push like they have it baked into their contracts, so they have to appear on at least one of the posters in promotional arts. But like, just don't fucking let them put that in there. You're Marvel. Just don't let them do it because it looks so fucking bad every time.
For a studio that has, I mean, even in their their peak, for a studio that was so meticulous with their world building and like character building and continuity, their posters suck every time.
And remember, this is Sony too, so this is Sony marketing, which is notoriously the worst.
Right? Yeah. So like the original Avengers poster, where Tony Stark's head is like disjointed from the rest of his body, and he's just putting his arm out. Like that's hilarious.
I think
that one edit they made.
The in-game.
Remember that one edit that they made of Black Widow, where they put everyone in Black Widow's like ass stance, because like the stance they made her do was like her butt out, and then she was facing behind, and then they edited like Hulk to look that way, Cap to look that way, everyone else to look that way. It was so bad.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Ezra Miller.
Yeah, he said, having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I alarmed or upset with my past behavior. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage of my life. Like we just did an ad read for BetterHelp, so I'm not gonna like clown. Like I saw the comments on that. Like there are reasonable comments in both directions. Some people, I saw someone say, "Hey, like let's be fair. I'm not gonna give this guy a pass. Clearly a piece of shit, but like all we've been clowning this guy for months is like seek help. And now he said he's going to seek help, and it's like now you're clowning him again. The rebuttal to that is like nobody thinks this is genuine, which is completely fair. But I do get both sides of that. Like I understand the like, all right, we can hate this fucking guy, but let's not make fun of the idea that like, okay, he said he's going to do it. Let's see if he actually does it. Yeah. What a mess they have on their hands with this.
Where do they put him?
I feel so bad for him.
You know, where do they put Ezra? Like, do they, because like you think like he in Vermont, like he'd be safe enough to not get up into any trouble, and then he gets fucking arrested in Vermont. Who gets arrested in Vermont?
Who gets arrested in Hawaii? It's the most peaceful place on earth. Like it's fucking crazy. He gets arrested in the easternmost and westernmost parts of the United States. Like you can't put him anywhere.
Wasn't the Hawaii? But the thing is, he's doing like petty crimes. That's what it's like getting in a fight at a karaoke bar and just breaking into somebody's house and stealing their alcohol. Right. It's like, what do you like a 15-year-old
multi-millionaire dude? Like, what are you doing?
All right, Ezra, we are relocating you to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Please don't fuck this one up.
They just put him in Lansing. He's welcome to come here. Yeah, I know. I do agree with you that like, look, they clearly have a lot of like severe mental health issues. Like you don't become a multimillionaire and just like go from country or state to state wrecking havoc. At the same time, like as much as I appreciate them hopefully getting help for what they need, I feel like you're kind of past the point of no return. Like you also do need to pay the consequences or face the consequences for what's like in the way that you've completely impacted. Like there's a lot of people that have worked on the Flash movie that are going to have to eat shit because of what this guy did.
And if one of those behind the scenes people had done any of the shit, they'd be arrested and in jail.
Fired.
Yeah, they'd be fired. Like, so, yeah.
We can rip through the rest of the news here. Not crazy big stuff. I was thinking we lose this room in like 30 minutes. I just realized. First trailer for the greatest beer run ever, starring Zac Efron and Russell Crowe, directed by Peter Farrelly, who obviously from Dumb and Dumber to Green Book, hits theaters and Apple TV Plus on September 30th. A man's story of leaving New York in 1967 to bring beer to his childhood buddies in the army while they were fighting in Vietnam. Our coworker Dana did this, but he brought beer to people who would like.
He went to Nashville.
Jesus
Christ,
after
the tornado.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts on this?
Not a lot.
I think it looks fun.
I like Zac Efron. I like most of the other people involved, with maybe the exception of Farrelly, but yeah, Russell Crowe rocks, dude. So yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, Zac Efron needs this. That's kind of the way, because I've always maintained I think he's actually a really talented guy. I think he suffers from, let's call it Nicolas Cage syndrome, where I think he chooses his scripts by dartboard. Like he just he has no rhyme or reason for the project.
No,
but Baywatch, like I mean, he's been
the Ted Bundy one was the worst.
That was real bad. That was real bad.
What was that DJ? We Are Your Friends. One of the
biggest flop ever.
Biggest flop. We Are Your Friends, baby.
Isn't that the biggest flop ever?
No.
It's up there, right?
It might be. John Carter's the biggest, and
it made like $60,000 on a wide release.
It was like relative to the per screen. I think there was something like that, Gooch, where it was like per screen.
Decent soundtrack though.
What a pull.
But I like him. I think he's a talented guy. This looks like fun.
Budget $2 million, made $11 million.
Wait, what? We Are Your Friends?
Yeah.
I swear.
Wow.
Something. No, I'm with you. There was something about it though, where they said like the money it made opening weekend was like a record low per screen or something like that.
Trailer that I liked quite a bit. Tim Burton's Wednesday.
$800 a venue, by the way. That's what you're looking for.
$800 a venue. That rules. Okay, that does rule. All right, that's fucking funny. Wednesday, the Addams Family movie, focused on Wednesday Addams, Jenna Ortega, Luis Guzman, Christina Ricci.
That was wild, by the way. Luis Guzman. Yeah.
Christina Ricci, who played Wednesday Addams back in the day. Catherine Zeta-Jones and more premieres on Netflix in the fall. Follows Wednesday Addams' years as a student when she attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart and solve the mysteries that embroiled her parents. I will say this: if you had not told me it was Tim Burton, though, I don't think I would have known it was Tim Burton. It didn't have as like overly Tim Burton-y vibes. You can once you realize it's him, you see the elements. I thought this looked fucking awesome as a series. I don't care about the Addams Family at all, but I'm looking forward to this. It was a great trailer. I'll say that.
I think it looks great. I think Jenna Ortega. I mean, she looks like she's about to nail this fucking. I mean, she looked great, and the line deliveries were perfect. Like, I guess the only complaint people had was Luis Guzman. Didn't bother me that much though.
Weird,
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be much more centered on Wednesday. Obviously being titled Wednesday, but yeah, it looks fun. Netflix might have something here. Tim Burton. Also, it's not like a name attached thing.
Also debuts in the fall.
He is directing half the episodes.
Typically, characters like this you associate with the fall and Halloweenish time, and you know what? I like that. Like they are releasing it in a time where it's going to come out and feel like it belongs in that time of the year.
Am I wrong? It was Halloween Kills that came out in like February or something. There's a Halloween movie we watched that came out in like February or March. That was really bizarre.
Well, it was both of Rob Zombie's were released on like August 22nd.
It's bizarre.
But
Addams Family, it just doesn't really move the needle for me. I do like Ortega a lot in all of her previous stuff. So like obviously more than willing to give it a chance, but just it's never been a show that I'm a Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends guy. If you're talking about creepy houses filled with monsters, that's my jam.
What a deep cut.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah, Blue is the best, and the Wilt guy that was supposed to be Wilt Chamberlain, voiced by Phil Lamar, GOAT voice actor.
Remember when he was oh wait, go ahead, Chris.
I'm just saying I would like this a lot more if it was a movie and not a series. I don't really think that it needs to be a series, but it's a good trailer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's get an open mind.
Could be a cool little universe to explore too.
First, maybe they'll cross over the Rob Zombie monsters.
Sure as fuck.
No,
probably not.
They'll cross over with the MonsterVerse.
Black Adam
rebooted for this. Yeah.
Black Adam's gonna be in this.
That too.
First footage from HBO's Last. I have no comments on this because I never played the game, but looks cool. Last of Us from HBO. Also, like, I'm a fucking moron. I thought they'd show a couple of Succession clips. They're just old clips. HBO did their like coming up on HBO thing. A lot of White Lotus though. But Ken Jack, thoughts on the HBO Last of Us tease? Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey debuts in early 2023 on HBO.
Pascal looks like a great Joel. Bella Ramsey, I thought was awesome in Game of Thrones. So like seeing her, she doesn't really look like. I thought she'd be older in my brain. I was just like, oh well, she obviously it's been like 5 years since Game of Thrones, but that's just not true. She looks a little young for the role, but like other than that, small clips, looks good. Craig Mazin doing obviously the showrunner on this. He did Chernobyl, which is one of HBO's best miniseries. Yeah. So and they also have Neil Druckmann, I think is the guy's name, who did
the guy who directed the game, right?
Yeah, the guy who directed both games. And he's on board doing this as well. So like all the pieces are here for this to be one of the best video game adaptations, because usually there is one of these components when they're making a video game movie or show that they fuck up. Like they don't include anybody who was in the game. They don't watch the game. They don't play the game. They don't know anything about the game. They just get scripts from random people. They have a good showrunner. They have the guy who's involved with the game. They have a pretty good cast so far. So it should be good. It should be, but it's a video game curse. So you never know.
It's also, and I'm not the biggest gamer in the world, but it's by far the most cinematic game I've ever played.
By far.
It's like playing through a movie when you play it.
That's what everyone says.
It's a beautiful story. I really hope that it turns out well. I mean, like you said, like it's just like these video game adaptations. Just you never really know what you're gonna get. It can either be kind of okay or bad, is what we've pretty much seen.
Swedish gaming.
That's the Helsky Ghost of Tsushima game's or movies being, I think, filled out now, which should be crazy. That's gonna be a great movie. Hopefully,
quite interesting adaptation. Swedish gaming conglomerate, speaking of gaming, Embracer Group has bought the right to make films, games, merchandise, and theme parks based on the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. I would go to a Lord of the Rings theme park in a millisecond. That sounds fucking amazing. Just the Shire, just hanging out in the Shire all day.
That would be incredible.
And the Hobbit part of the park, nobody goes to.
Why? I love the Hobbit. The Hobbit part's would be the best part.
If I'm not New Zealand for the Hobbit part, I'm not doing that in like Florida. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
Come to the Hobbit part of the ride. This is based on the movie The Hobbit. Nah, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, you mean like the Hobbit movies? Yeah. I thought you were saying like Hobbiton. Like
no, the Shire would be the best. That's gonna be the coolest part. Yeah. Can't wait for that. Jerry Bruckheimer confirms that National Treasure 3 is still in the works and that a really good script is being sent to Nick Cage soon. I believe the first half. I don't believe the second half.
Snip, snap, snip, snap. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I told you guys. I said because wasn't it 2 months ago? They're like, this is dead.
Nick Cage said he will never work with Disney again. He was like, fuck them.
I said after that's dumb title. And I like this movie, but Unbearable Weight. I'm like, it's gonna make a comeback. This is gonna end up happening, and I think it will. Because here's my prediction as well. The National Treasure series is going to suck, and they know it sucks, and it's going to get such a demand for we need to take this back to ground level, which is ironic talking about National Treasure. And we're going to get National Treasure 3.
Maybe that was on purpose. Maybe they made this really shitty kids bop version of National Treasure to draw interest for the original, like they do with like the shitty Pepsi brands or Pepsi drinks they release. Like, hey, here's Crystal Pepsi. Everyone's like, this sucks. And they're like, oh, well, look at this. We got regular Pepsi back.
we got regular treasure over here.
It's new Coke.
I might be overestimating the appetite for National Treasure just based on like our audience and like how our tweets do and how our like Instagram posts do when I post anything National Treasure. I think the movie would make like $1 billion. Right?
I think make a lot of money. I think
it would be $1 billion movie.
It would make a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's our generation's. I mean, it's not Indiana Jones because Indiana Jones is fucking like cinematically, like just also prestige. But I mean, it's our generation's Indiana Jones is Benjamin Gates. I mean, he is the adventure star of our childhoods.
Cineworld, owner of Regal Cinemas, preparing to file for bankruptcy. Who cares? The big news is that AMC now has large to-go popcorn bags.
How is Cineworld not the owner of Cinnabon? That's kind of the biggest
I know
prize here.
Yeah. If they were,
I don't hate Regal. I want to be clear, but
I'm a Regal.
I'm an AMC guy.
I was at Regal yesterday watching Dragon Ball Super.
I will have a full review of the large popcorn bag. I'll be getting it tonight after I go back to my apartment. I will try it out. Very excited about that. I'm still waiting for the delivery in the city, though. MoviePass returning this Thursday. Waitlist posted on their website at 9 a.m.
I'm going to do it.
Beta rollout will include 3 different tiers ranging from $10 to $30. I use AMC A-List, so I have no use for this.
I just want to see what it's like.
But shout out to when Ken, Jack, and I would just walk by an AMC, punch in our movie card, buy a ticket, not see the movie, and then jack up our AMC points. I didn't pay for popcorn for like 2 years.
Dude. The garbages at like our local AMCs were filled with tickets, like unused tickets to movies that we did. It was just you get like free popcorn and free drinks.
It was amazing. Funny. We scammed the system. I'm okay to say it. Gwyneth Paltrow will be a special guest shark on the upcoming season of Shark Tank.
I had to throw this in there.
Meaning she'll say the word. You'll hear the word goop a lot on.
Yeah.
What do you think though? Like other like sharks are gonna like think when Gwyneth Paltrow like imagine you're pitching a business, Gwyneth Paltrow tells you to fuck off. like no, what's even worse is advice on anything.
Imagine being like O'Leary or fucking even who's the lady you hate, Cochran or whatever. Like all these people who like built up empires and they're sitting next to the goop lady who makes like vagina eggs.
Candles.
And she's like, yeah, actually, I think you're wrong about this, Kevin O'Leary. Like you're wrong. Like I know what I'm talking about here.
I'm not a big Shark Tank watcher, but I will watch her episodes.
Love the tank. I'm a tanky, as they say. Yeah. The average age of CW viewers, they don't say that.
You don't want to be a tanky. You don't want to be a tanky.
What is that?
That's a hardcore Stalinist communism defender.
I'm kind of cool to be
just one of those.
That's kind of cool.
A
Shark Tank?
No.
Have you ever seen Young Stalin? He actually has a nice little fade, just like Jeff.
He's hot.
He was hot.
Young Stalin was very hot.
Interesting. Yeah. Average age of CW viewers is 58 years old.
I had to throw that one in there because I was laughing. I
thought I was surprised by that, to be honest.
That's very surprising, actually.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of some 58-year-old just waiting for the new episode of Riverdale.
They get there. The marketing department gets the survey back. They're like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?"
There's so much of that has to be based on the superhero shows, right? I mean,
I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's like we need to buy the rights to Antique Roadshow stat.
I said two things. Like if you're like 58 and you're watching Riverdale, you probably need to be put on a list. Also, if you are any age and still watching The Flash, you need to be put on a list. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I'm looking at the shows that are on here.
Oh,
Honey Walker's on. Oh, I bet Walker's a big old person show. The Walker Texas Ranger spinoff. Honey, Nancy Drew's on.
Babe, they're bringing the 100 back.
What's Tom Swift?
Oh, God, I hated that show so much.
Which one, the 100?
Yeah.
Oh, the first season was so good.
I just... Did you have like one? I feel like every friend group kind of has this one friend who like every show they recommend is awful. Like, you guys got to watch this. It just shows the show of the year. Is that you?
Yeah. I told you. I watch bad things. This is known.
Every friend group has one of these. And my friend that like he's like 0 for 1,000 recommending shows, and I specifically watched this show because we knew it was gonna be bad, and we all clowned him for it.
I would never recommend any of the CW shows I watch. I'll be put it that way.
And the Wizard of Oz remake is in development at Warner Brothers, which like you can't stand up on that fucking podium, pitch me all that bullshit last week or 2 weeks ago, and then tell me you're gonna remake a movie that should never be remade.
It just shouldn't. It's just one of those movies. I can't explain it, and I'm sure like. There is an argument to be made that the graphics could get out there, but it's just like no, it's already good. Like
but that movie still looks good. I mean, it's of course obviously doesn't have a $100 million budget, but like it's just the reason is I don't know if the word timeless has ever applied to any other movie.
Yeah, are they going to update it with like modern day things? Like Line doesn't have any followers on social media or something.
Dorothy lands in Oz. She's like, well, that just happened.
You see, I can already see it.
This is a good segue. This is a good segue for our review.
You see one of the doors actually getting therapy instead of.
Yeah. It's okay to talk to someone, Tin Man.
Interview with Katie Aselton. She's got a movie coming out. We talked about that. Talked about The League. We talked about which of the Duplass brothers she prefers, the one that she's married to or the one she isn't.
Her answer
That's a big question.
Shock you.
Her answer will blow your mind. Here's our interview. Always the best. Katie Aselton, thank you so much for joining us.
I am thrilled to be here.
A lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
We'll start off, though. New movie, your third directorial job.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. We'll talk about that. I want to get into the mind of a director. Yep. But Mac and Rita, also you have this is one of the longest. So we always read the synopsis for those who may not know what the movie is, may want to hear about it. This is one of the longest I've ever seen.
I don't know how to type. I wish I knew because tell me about it. They're like, "What's your movie about?" And I was like, "Oh boy."
Okay. So I'm gonna read it. Here we go. When 30-year-old self-proclaimed homebody Mac Martin reluctantly joins a Palm Springs bachelorette trip for her best friend Carla, her inner 70-year-old self is released, literally. I feel like that might not, you could almost, maybe, but here's the rest. The frustrated writer and influencer magically transforms into her future self, Aunt Rita. Freed from the constraints of other people's expectations, Rita comes into her own, becoming an unlikely social media sensation. It sparks a tentative romance with Mac's adorable dog sitter, Jack. For those who don't know, Diane Keaton, by the way. That's who we're saying. Yeah. May have heard of her. A bunch of other people in the movie: Taylor Page, Simon Rex, Simon Rex, Nicole Byer, Martin Short. A lot of names sprinkled throughout the cast. But yeah, sometimes it'll be like the most complex movie of all time that no one understands, and the synopsis will be like 3 words.
I don't know. He picks a red or a blue pill.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, out August 12th.
Yeah.
What can we expect from this comedy?
It is it's a real fun rom-com romp that is reminiscent of like Big and Freaky Friday, but like with a bit of a more current spin on it.
Which also, I know people involved with the movie Book Club, which we've talked about before this podcast.
You guys big fans?
We're book club guys.
You guys love book club.
We're book club guys. We talked about that.
We did.
Our third co-host was obsessed with it. Like he wanted to watch it so bad.
And then you fired him, and
he's actually no longer here.
He retired. He actually does not. Yeah, he retired though.
Yeah.
Once book club released, he's like, that's it. That's it for me.
Once they announce a sequel, he's like, no.
What's the sequel?
Sacrilege.
What would be the sequel to Book Club?
They're doing. They shot it.
Yeah, they are.
They just finished it.
Oh, serious? Is it just Book Club too?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's Book Club also.
There was, I think, I'm going to be honest.
In addition.
Yeah.
I think the reason why we took such a liking to it is because there was a boner joke in the trailer.
Yes, I think it was.
With I don't know who it was. I want to say, I thought it was.
Was it Candy Bergen?
Someone's I don't know. I forget who it was. But I remember we laughed and that was it. We were like,
that was a hot group of older gents.
No.
Don Johnson and Andy Garcia side by side. We've done both.
Okay, can I be honest? So I don't know if you guys know, I was in Book Club. Right. So I had one scene with Andy Garcia, and it's when I bust them in the pool together, right? And Diane has her stunt where she sort of falls in the pool. So she does her bit and then gets taken away to get dried off and go home. Andy stays for my coverage, which is so hot. I love that. But he's soaking wet because he's been in the pool. So he's sitting there and he's off camera. He's in a robe with a scotch.
Oh, God damn it. Of course.
And just giving me my stuff. And I was like, this is the sexiest thing I have legit ever seen in my life. He still has it. The man just oozes.
He's had it since Godfather 3. He's never lost it. It's insane.
We talked to him. Motion's Law is my favorite movie. I mean, he is the most dapper person in that movie. We talked to him, and I might be making this up. I think we interviewed him in a fedora and a smoking jacket.
He was definitely wearing a smoking jacket.
Have been.
He was definitely wearing a smoking jacket. And he had his big
If he
ear.
wasn't, he definitely had the vibe as if he was wearing a smoking jacket. That is how he rolls. I can't even. I wish I had taken a picture because it was just it was it burned into my soul. I don't need to take a picture. I remember exactly what it was. And I went home that night. I was like, Mark, I'm so sorry. We're done.
We also interviewed Don Johnson in studio too, and he came in just dressed in. It was just
this big ass like a giant jacket, a royal blue shirt. He was gorgeous.
He had blue Jordans on too.
Yeah, Jordans.
Have you guys ever heard that quote that he's said where he's back when he was doing Miami Vice, he was like, every take, I always give the audience exactly what they want. And they're like, what? He's like, I shoot one right down the barrel. They're like, you look at the camera, he's like, yeah.
He has some of the craziest bits you'll ever see on that show.
I don't think many people could pull that. I don't think every actor actually could pull that. I think very few could do that.
Shooting down the barrel?
Yeah,
no one's supposed to do that as an actor.
Exactly.
No one does that.
You mentioned Big and Freaky Friday, by the way. What is
that I'm talking about every movie and every actor. That has nothing to do with
but it's a very similar thing. Somebody wakes up and they are not wakes up, but transforms into an older or someone different from their age. What is that subgenre? You have heist movies, you have action comedies.
Switching. It's body switching. Body swaps.
I guess that's right. That's simpler.
13 going on 30.
I actually,
It's its own subgenre for sure.
Yeah. I actually thought this would be a 20-minute discussion in this interview that we'd have to really dig deep, but you just
no, that's it.
Just kind of cover.
Sorry.
Body flop. Okay.
Let me just let the air out of that balloon real fast.
There was one where Jason Bateman switches with Ryan Gosling or something, right?
With Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, I think you're right.
And
Jason Bateman's married, and Ryan is
look that up.
Not to be confused with the
change up. Yeah,
pretty sure it's the change up.
The switch, but that was when the sperm did a.
Oh,
yes, that was a sperm switching comedy.
Then there's the one where who's the one with 100 kids? That
was Vince Vaughn. That was The Donor. I think it was the name of the movie.
That wasn't Fred Claus?
It should have been.
Now we're really far out.
That's a subgenre that could maybe go with.
The sperm swapping. Yeah, that one. That's for a different website. Yeah, it's not for a movie. Different type of movie.
Yeah.
You mentioned Diane Keaton. She's obviously tremendous legend. What is she like working with as far as directing? Because you mentioned you did movies with her, but now you're behind the camera directing her.
She is perfectly Diane Keaton. She is everything that you think she might be, hope she would be. She is, I would say, maybe the most authentic human being I've ever met in my life. She just knows exactly who she is, and that's what she gives you. Doesn't mean she loves it. Like she's racked with insecurity, and like as most actors are, but she doesn't even try to give you anything else. Like it's and her process is like she's super instinctual, and it's really fun to watch her work. Like you don't see the work. It's cool.
Oh, I love that.
You've done 3 movies now, directing 2 comedies, 1 not a comedy.
I mean, I would say only 1 comedy. I think The Freebie is funny because it's me and Dax. So you've got 2 funny people in a drama, but like
dramedy.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dramedy, right? But it's like a drama that has funny moments, which it's not even a dramedy because there was never any like jokes in there. There was just 2 people and it was all improvised.
So kind of
so,
3 different things. Then you did a thriller.
Yeah. I'm really trying them all. I'm going to do my sperm swapping.
Yeah, there you go. That is next up.
They need a 3rd movie. They need the trilogy for that for sure. What like those are 3 different genres.
Very.
12 years ago, I think that's right. For what have you learned throughout all? Like what is?
Well,
like,
I learned that I really
thing?
do not like doing thrillers.
Really? Okay,
it's hard to do.
Why
It
though?
would like kick the shit out of me. That was the hardest. Black Rock was physically really hard to make. We shot it all. There was like all exteriors on the coast of Maine. It was freezing cold and rainy, and then like content-wise was really hard. It was it was rapey and murdery and like.
That's tough to approach. Yeah,
that is.
It was like a bummer to wake up to every day where you're like, or I could make a comedy with Diane Keaton and like
Simon Rex could be running a tanning salon. It's a much
So it did take that amount of time. I mean, I had a kid in the middle also where I was like, oh, I can't do a baby and a movie, and it all felt like a lot. But it took some time to wrap my head around like what kind of movies I wanted to throw myself into. But it's interesting, like this sort of through line with all of them. I was like, thinking about it, is that they're all starring like really strong women. You know, the characters are all like these, whether it's the freebie who's takes a big swing in her marriage and ultimately whiffs, or does she not? Like, who knows? Or in Black Rock where it's like sort of the survivalist thing, or in Macarena where it's just like someone trying to like really own who they are and love who they are.
Is it like the space to again, you mentioned more of a dramedy but still comedy elements, this a more pure comedy. Is it like the space to move around with maybe the script, the story, because comedies can be, I guess, ever changing, and then are you more boxed in with a script that's a thriller and A to B kind of plot?
It's less of like boxed in by the script itself and more, I think, threading the needle of what an audience requires today, making a thriller, which is like, it's not the same as what they did with Deliverance, which is ultimately what I really wanted to do with Black Rock. But like, Deliverance is 3 hours. Like, that doesn't fly anymore. There's like a weird 4th act of Deliverance. So you're like, what is that even doing there? Like, movie could have ended, kept going. But like, I loved that. And I love like the idea of doing something meandering. But like, ultimately, when you're cutting a movie now for audiences, they're like, it's got to move. It's got the pacing's got to be fast. There's got to be like sound scares and like it feels like
sensory overload.
Yeah, it feels a little cheap now, and it's like manipulative, and I kind of like, I didn't love that. Like I think there's like an elevated thriller like The Others or something like that I think can still really work for me, but I don't know. I didn't like playing in that sandbox of like.
Interesting.
I think a lot of studios think like horror movies are like the most bulletproof genre. So like, let's stick to the formula. We can turn a $5 million movie into a $60 million return.
And by the way, like Black Rock was great. Like it sold really well out of Sundance because it is a formula and they know that it will work on a level. Yeah. It's just like,
want to get it out of it. So as far as comedy directing though, what would you say the most difficult part about doing it, specifically with movies? Because we talk about it a lot where like a lot of comedy directors, like they're like, I'm just going to do TV because TV is like an easier medium for me to work with or whatever. And there hasn't been like a ton of like, do you remember like back in like 90s, 80s, whatever, there used to be like a banner comedy movie like every single year. And that's kind of like gone away.
It's interesting. I don't know why. I mean, there's all kinds of theories, right? It's like Marvel is the only movie that works in a theater. But then, like, you look at the box office this summer, and it's like women want to go see movies more than ever.
First $1 billion month, I think, since COVID.
So it's like a really, really interesting thing to track. So I think, you know, as far as comedies, I don't know, because I love it. I honestly, it was the most joyful experience to make this movie. And if I could, like, be on a track, I would, like, want to be on, like, the Penny Marshall track, right? Of, like, making, like, fantastic character-driven comedies. I don't know where they are, and I don't know where they've gone. I think that there was maybe, like, a weird turn where, like, comedies got really crass and, like, kind of offensive, and then it was the R-rated comedy, and then once things got R-rated, then all of a sudden the box office shifts because you're not getting all of the same audiences in there. And then when the box office shifts, they're like, it's not working, and you're like, well, it's an R-rated comedy, so it's only going to do what you think it's going to do. And then I think, you know, I think there was, like, a trend of, like, Judd comedies that were, like, for some reason 3 hours long. And I think those, everyone was like, why are they so long?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would love for it to trend back and come back, because they're kind of the only movies I want.
It's like people are still funny. That's what I say too. It's like, it's not like we're less funny.
Well, the world is less funny.
That's around us, but the
that
people,
makes me think that we need them more than ever, because the world is so unfunny right now.
One cast member that I saw on this list, and there's a ton, like, obviously all the top billing's insane, but when I see Patty Harrison, I was like, oh yes, because like, I loved her and I think you should leave, and like her Instagram or all over social media are hysterical. What was she like, just like, I would say off camera, how funny is she to work with?
She's like so wild because she's so dry. It's just what you see in her performance. It's a lot of that. So you're like, did I just, like, is it
funny? Is it a joke or is it mean?
I can't tell. Yeah. She's very cool though, and like beyond sweet. I really love her.
Oh, I love that.
And she has some really funny moments in the movie.
Oh, I can't wait.
Mac and Reader, mine are out August 12th. Some other things to talk about as well. Obviously, you're in the league, and possibly not bring that up in a place where, like, sports is.
I know. I'm like, why isn't the picture on the wall? I feel like you guys have been real fans.
One of probably the most perfectly timed things. It was literally at its peak in fantasy football. Yeah. We talk about it all the time. It is a fascinating pop culture moment that everyone, like, if you had an ounce of interest in the NFL and fantasy football, you just had to watch it. Like,
and I feel like I would say fantasy sort of started peaking, like, as the show went on.
True, yeah.
So we sort of, like, rode the wave together.
Like, what was the initial thought on that? Like, how long could this last? Like, how many? Because
I think the initial thought was like, this could go on forever.
Interesting.
You know, and then there's a little bit like, oh, is it getting sad that these people are just, like, old? And then the truth of the matter is like, it couldn't go on forever because we literally could not make 89% of the jokes that we made, like, today. We couldn't. We would get canceled so quick.
That was the beauty of FX, though.
I know, but it was.
Y'all were very close to that line too, because like people bring up The Office a lot, like like early Michael Scott stuff. Like, could you get away with the like whatever? But that was still early 2000s, and it's not like the league ended like yesterday, but it was pretty close to like the line of where things died down.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think we like kissed the end of that era goodbye. We sent off the ship of offensive comedy.
Yeah, beyond the original or the main cast, which obviously a whole bunch of guys went on to do insane things.
The best cast in the world.
Your guest list is insane. Not even the NFL guys.
Oscar winners.
Brie Larson, Jason Mantzoukas, Allison Williams, Larry David, Bob Odenkirk. Like
an absurd arc for Brie Larson.
Yes, and a really crazy arc for Brie Larson.
And then just won an Oscar a couple years after.
Yeah.
Oh, Meghan Markle.
Yes, it's crazy.
Don't worry, just royalty.
What do you think?
That might be the big one. That might be the biggest.
Actually, and she played like. I think ultimately they ended up giving her a name, but she was initially like girl number 2, and then I think she like married Harry,
right? Yeah.
Clearly,
Henry's from what, like
Prince Henry?
That's an
200 years.
Yeah, it's like to 1200.
But then I feel like that happened. They're like, we got to give that character a name. She can't be girl number 2.
What do you think drew so much talent to the show, though? Because like you're saying, it's
Jeff
so many
Schaffer.
people. Yeah, it makes sense.
He is like a comedic genius, and honestly, would still to this day follow him off a cliff. He's the best.
We talked to him very early on in our time here for a while. Wow, I forget what the project was. Oh, it was Dave.
Oh,
Dave, that's right. Yeah,
another FX. Yeah.
I mean, he still knows what's going on.
We talked to him about we talked about the greatest cameo in movie history, Matt Damon and
Eurotrip. Yeah,
he was just in. They were filming in some weird.
It was a real coup.
yeah. What is so you? I mean, you've been on. We just mentioned The Office, but you've been on a lot of some of the best comedy shows probably ever made.
Yeah, no big deal.
Veep.
My family didn't think I was funny growing up.
That's
like who's telling the fucking.
You don't even like comedy. You're just like fuck this. I'm just proving them wrong one show at a time.
Yeah.
Veep, Curb, The Office, obviously The League. Funniest set. What was do we have to take the League out of it though because like you were
it's like too much attachment.
Exactly. Because the League was so funny and I love those boys so much. Like that cast. Oh, they're honestly like family. I mean,
kind of actually are too. Like literally.
I'm married to one of them. That helps. But okay, funniest set, probably Curb. Larry David is very funny. I don't know if you guys.
Who's this guy? Who are you talking about? I have no idea.
He is.
Check it out.
He's a real funny guy. Office was like. They were at the end of like a 15 episode run, like right before they were going on hiatus. And so they were all like zombies. And I was like, what are we doing? What is happening? I'm so happy to be it. No? Okay.
You're like the energetic newbie, yeah.
Yeah. And then Veep I was so nervous because Julia Louis-Dreyfus was not in my scene, but she was like behind the camera watching. So I was just like, oh my God. That one I couldn't be funny in that one.
That does sound like the most daunting one.
And then she came up and she was like, Katie, you're incredible. And I was like,
was there a lot of with Veep? Because I know Curb. We've talked to a couple people who have been on Curb, and that one we know is very, very improv heavy. It's almost scriptless, basically. It's kind of like just
Veep was more script.
More script.
Yeah, script based.
What's his name? Such a good showrunner. Oh my God. How much?
Dave Mandel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're very like specific to like he's very particular about his script.
It's funny you mentioned that like the world not being funny. I believe Julie Dreyfus said that. She said, and I think the whole cast and crew said that. They said this is now not parody.
Yeah.
This needs to end. And it ended perfect. Like it is.
When all of a sudden Veep becomes a documentary, you're just like, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Because like it is like, and we make fun all the time. Like there's a political commentary with like comedy shows stuff where you're like, all right, this is good. But like that is a very true point. It's like, okay, this is now almost not absurd. This is like
uncomfortable.
Yeah, like when some of them running for like Jonah Ryan running for Congress, it's like this isn't funny anymore. Funny. This is just real.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
We do him twice now.
Yeah,
Timothy Simmons. Yeah, man, he was so funny.
He's so great.
Another show you're in, small role in season 2, and we actually talked to one of the people in this, and I'm actually curious from your angle. Morning show. We talked to Billy Crudup about this.
Yeah.
That show had a fascinating COVID alteration. Literally,
major.
What?
They completely had to scrap season 2 and rewrite it.
Has you ever seen anything like that? Is there anything close to that? I'm trying to open the fucking door. The sales team.
It happens sometimes.
The fucking sales team trying to
type of office
in the middle.
Yeah.
The fuck was that?
The big league fan.
Yeah.
Are you guys supposed to be in here?
Yeah, maybe. We don't actually work.
You're not interviewing us. You're in the
This
wrong
is
room.
not. Yeah.
This is a great practice.
Have you seen anything like that? Because I believe we talked to him. I know we talked to him much before it released because the screeners we had like were not fully done yet. So he couldn't say too much, but that was like completely.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything like that with the show? And obviously the situation is unprecedented.
Obviously, my only experience was with morning show because that was what was shooting then, right? I can tell you.
Were you in it before the COVID storyline?
I don't know. I don't.
Interesting.
Maybe not.
You were part of the major overhaul.
I think I was going to, but I definitely. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know when I signed on to it. Maybe.
I feel like the delays of movies, right? It's the Top Guns, the James Bond, but this is
I'll
just
tell you, with Mac and Rita, we had a major we were supposed to make that pre-pandemic. Like we had our funding so much more than what we ended up getting. So 2020, early 2020, I signed on. Diane was there. We had about 3 times as much money.
Jesus.
And we were supposed to shoot at Coachella. This whole regression pod situation was going to be at Coachella. We're shooting at Coachella. And then the pandemic hit, and then it got shelved. And I was like, this sick joke was like, oh, remember when I was going to direct Diane Keaton in a movie? Like, it was like the freaking worst. And so then, like that fall, the producer called and was like, I can still get us some money. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to scale the scope of this movie way down. So all of a sudden, like, then I was like, oh, this is completely in my wheelhouse, because now all of a sudden we're making a tiny indie movie again. Like, I know exactly how to do this. And we did. We, like, you know, all the group scenes got real truncated. Coachella went away and became like a bachelorette weekend. Like, so that was where I felt COVID the hardest, you know?
Yeah, sounds like you need to go on an off-camera hang out to Coachella with Diane Keaton, though.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That was why you wanted to do the movie in the first place.
It sounds like... Yeah, you don't need to film that. Just go hang out at Coachella with Diane Keaton. Seems like the solution there. Yeah.
I know what she looks like when she does mushrooms.
All right, we got one last thing for you. Oh, actually, we got two last things for you. This one we call the six-pack, so it's just a quick six-pack of questions for you. Okay. You can give us any long answer, expounded answer, whatever you want. What do you think is the greatest sitcom ever?
Cheers.
Cheers. We're interviewing Ratzenberger at 4 p.m.
today.
Really?
Yeah.
What a ironic.
Just tell him. I think he's
you're
great.
You're thinking after him.
Yeah, that pilot still to this day is one of the best pilots I have ever seen. Mm-hmm. That show is tight.
They released pictures of the rap party pretty recently, where it's like now rap parties are like you have to go to like some big event and it's catered, all this shit. Like they just did it on the set, and it's just like they had like a 6-pack of beers, and it's just Ted Danson and Woody Harrelson just like clinking together beers.
I mean, can you even imagine?
Yeah, now Rupture Rap Party's big sponsored.
Yeah, it's all sponsored.
It's the worst. Yeah. And like no one wants to go because you're like,
yeah.
You got like a hat with the logo. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Like I need another backpack.
Exactly. What's a role you auditioned for, really wanted but didn't get? And it happens to every actor, but like, what's the one that you really wish you got?
That's a great question. I don't know, because then I can I always look back and I'm like, I don't think it was my role. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'll come back to that one.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. What studio usually has the best craft services, in your opinion?
Sony.
Sony, interesting. Huh. I'm going to keep that as a note next time we have like a Sony video game thing going on.
Apple. I mean, I don't think it's like a studio. You know what I mean? It's like it's on the Sony stages, but it's Apple money.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that food is good.
It's just all Michelin star chefs. Yeah. Tim Cook just going around.
Some seared tuna.
Pumping in like fresh oats like they do in the actual stores.
Exactly.
What NFL star from the league do you think was the actually best actor?
Great question. Maybe. Oh, you know what? What's his nuts? Why am I blanking on his name? Big white guy from Wisconsin.
Joe Thomas.
JJ Watt.
JJ Watt. Wow, interesting.
I love JJ. He was like the best.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I actually believe
the wrong white guy.
I do believe that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Does make perfect sense.
He was so enjoyable.
He seems like a great guy too, just hang out with. You were in a movie with Toni Collette. Mm-hmm. Be honest, were you surprised that she's Australian?
No.
A lot of people are. That's why I ask.
Here's the thing. I love Toni. Mm-hmm. She is a dear friend. I actually think her American accent is like fine.
Really?
Yes, I always hear her Australian accent when I
feel like in all major movies we watch, she's doing an American accent. And like I think I watched that space movie she did for Netflix with like not Kate Mara, one of the Mars. But like she did a whole thing there, and she had an Australian accent. And then I was like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, her Aussie accent is good.
Yeah, exactly.
We always look forward to the Oscars around here because people in this office get duped that Christian Bale's not from the United States.
Oh, they always think
we wait for that.
Well,
that's
his
our
American
favorite.
is really good.
Yeah, that's our favorite moment. People are like, what? I'm like, come on, what are we?
Tom Hardy too, that happens now still. Like,
well, Tom Hardy, nobody knows what his accent is.
No one can understand anything he says anyways.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
All right, without bias, and we've interviewed one of these guys, rank the Duplass brothers.
Ooh. Obviously, Mark is my
favorite. No, that's not the one we interviewed, so we disagree.
We interviewed Jay.
You interviewed Jay?
Yeah.
You haven't interviewed Mark?
Not yet, no.
Jay feels like the most anti-Barstool Sports guy
he was doing it
ever.
He was doing it in a hotel room in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's right. It was for a documentary.
Was the chair?
Yeah, I forget. It was a documentary. I forget which one.
It was.
Right?
No, it was. Fuck.
A documentary series?
It was for HBO.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's probably the car one?
Yes, that's right, which was really good too. That was awesome.
Their docs, I mean, they've dialed something in. Good. Great.
We talked about indies for like 20 minutes. It was crazy. Like these are great.
The guy knows a lot about movies.
Yeah.
That's just Mark. Like they are bottomless fonts of knowledge. But I'm particular to Mark because he sleeps with me.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's okay. So we just
have sex with you.
We disagree there. That's okay. All right. Major rapid fire at the end here.
Okay.
2 minutes.
I still have to figure out what role I auditioned for.
You could say none. We get that answer.
We can make one up for you. Be like, she auditioned for Miss Marvel and didn't get it or something.
Didn't even get the audition. I don't know. There's something. I'm sure there's something that broke my heart.
3 favorite movies, 2 underrated movies, and 1 guilty pleasure. You gotta tell us.
Tootsie. Fargo. Big Lebowski.
Big Cohen person.
What? Yeah. And then what was it?
Underrated.
The assassination of Jesse James.
We were just talking about Andrew Dominic like 5 minutes ago because he's making that.
I was just I want him to make more movies. I think he's a great filmmaker.
Yeah, he has a large gap. We were talking about the new Marilyn Monroe movie, and I did not dawn on me the large gap.
I was literally just having this exact same conversation, which is why it was at the forefront of my mind. And I think, like, I don't know.
It's like killing them softly, and then he's like, I'm just done for a bit.
And I'm tired.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like me with Black Rock. Maybe he just like literally got the shit kicked out of me. He's like, I just need a second. I'm excited to see Blonde though.
Yeah, I mean, trust.
Netflix didn't want to release it. It was so like,
why?
NC-17 didn't want it. Like, I don't know.
You're a streamer.
Yeah. It's crazy. We don't get it.
Okay.
Another underrated. Or underappreciated. I feel
underappreciated. I will say, underappreciated movie. Great question.
Not easy.
It's not easy.
You can pick a 4th favorite too. I won't let you off the hook on guilty pleasure though.
Yeah, we do need the guilty pleasure.
I'll give you a guilty pleasure. I feel like
I love how much thought you're putting.
I'm actually thinking mine. Actually,
this how good of a podcast is this? Just listening to me think.
Well, this will be on YouTube too.
It's thoughtful. It's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Okay, underappreciated movie. I will say Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Ooh, yeah, great movie.
Great pick.
Shane Black.
And then guilty pleasure. And I like dig like. Can't say like.
There's this movie.
It's gotta be dig deep. It's gotta be
You've probably never seen it. It's Jon Favreau and what's her face. It's a movie called Love and Sex, and it's not good, but I love this movie. Famke Jensen and Jon Favreau.
Cool, yeah. Oh, that's
I have not seen
right
this.
There.
Yeah.
At least I don't believe so.
It is not a great movie, and yet I loved it so much. And saw John at some point, and I was like, John, you don't understand. I love that movie. And he goes, I'm so sorry.
I love this era of Jon Favreau too.
Yes.
And it was like, I saw it like at Sunset 5 in LA, and I was just like really into it. And
Sherry
he's
O'Terry. This is crazy.
so freaking charming in it. And Famke's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be my guilty pleasure.
I'm gonna have to watch this silly based on this photo of them standing in front of a big mural of Mayor McCheese.
I like this one where they're sucking face in the main movie poster.
Yeah, there's like some good makeout montages in there. You know, like a real strong makeout montage.
Swingers era Favreau was like, he was a pretty hot dude. He had it going on.
He played a UFC fighter and millionaire and billionaire and Friends.
You know what he had going on? It's like I like a guy who's like confident in himself and is funny. Yeah, like that's sexy.
Yeah, you can make Iron Man and Chef in the same swoop.
Yeah.
Mac and Rita in the theaters August 12th. Absolutely check it out, and we will be keeping an eye out for you and Diane Keaton to go to Coachella together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a there's another documentary.
That's a documentary. We'll call it La Di Da.
There you go.
What's it about? Oh, we just kind of watch them. They just go to. It's like a it's like a VR thing.
Yeah.
Have somebody go and you hang out with the two of you at Coachella.
Hanging out with the two of us. So like you guys are walking through Coachella with us.
You may not have music
and
rights.
And being like, Katie, you're crazy.
We'll put a GoPro on Diane Keaton's head. It'll be perfect. We'll do a great job with this.
No, because then you will miss all of Diane. You need the GoPro on my head because then you're experiencing Diane.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Oh, you guys are the best.
Blast. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so much fun.
All right. Into a review. I alluded before that interview. I said, what's You have a new prop. Gooch has a prop again.
Oh God, that's a good hat.
Yeah, good luck putting that on with headphones. I made it work a little bit. This will be comfortable for you the whole time. You look so unnaturally uncomfortable. I mentioned it, Kenjack. You made the joke about Wizard of Oz with like modern day writing and stuff. Bodies from A24. We can talk about that. This is a fascinating movie, and I mean that in a very positive way. A24's Bodies came out a few weeks ago, but is finally wide. Again, I'll say that one more time. A24, always a good reason to go see a movie. Most of their movies are not just good, but great. They make a dud here and there. Amanda Stenberg, who was in a movie, The Hate You Give, which was fantastic a couple years ago. It was one of the first movies we reviewed when we were at Barstool. Among other people, Maria Bakalova, who was in Borat 2. I almost just forgot Pete Davidson's name.
And Tall King Lee Pace.
Rachel Sennett, yep, Lee Pace. In an isolated family mansion, a group of rich 20-somethings decide to play Bodies, a game where one of them is secretly a killer while the rest tries to escape. Things take a turn for the worse when real bodies start turning up, setting off a paranoid and dangerous chain of events. As a spoiler review, because I just don't think you can talk about this really without spoiling it. You probably can a little bit, but for the sake of this, we're going to spoil it. I love this. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. Incredibly inventive, fun twist. I loved one. I will say this is what we were just talking about. I thought, and I will reference another reviewer on YouTube who fucking loved this. One of the better reviewers, I think, on YouTube. Karsten Runquist said this. He said, doesn't make the audience that it's intended for feel stupid. Because it doesn't dunk on them. It doesn't dunk on young people for the message trying to put across and what it's trying to use social media and stuff for. And I think that's fantastic. It respects the people it's talking about and it's like talking to. And I love that it had that awareness.
That's a good point.
Which I'm not shocked by because A24 does typically pick projects that are smart projects. I'm not just saying that like, oh, it's a smart movie, you won't get it. Just like it's a project that has some intelligence to it. I really enjoyed this movie. This is one of the better, more fun movies of the year. Is it perfect up there, top 5? No, but I love a good whodunit. This is not a slasher. I mean, there's deaths in it, but this is not a slasher movie. It's a murder mystery whodunit. And I thought the twist, Kenjack, you did say you figured it out. I did not, but I'm a big dumb idiot. I thought the twist was fucking awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, I figured out the twist and
86 out of 100 for me. Loved it.
Are we close to spoilers right now?
We're spoiling this movie.
We're on it, yeah.
All right, so the scene where the girl falls down the stairs, that's when I'm like, that girl actually fell down the stairs.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was like, that girl just fell down the stairs. Like she was like, this is all like they're all just killing each other because they think there's someone killing them and there's not. And I was like, I love movies like that where you could figure out what's going on, but you really have to work for it. Like when you don't and it's too easy to predict, that sucks. If it's like too contrived or whatever, too conniving, like it's just frustrating. But if you're able to figure it out and like it's just that perfect level of making you work, it does make you feel very gratified. And that was me with this movie. I thought it was really awesome. Like very quietly funny at points, disrespects podcasters, which I didn't like. That dropped it like 20, dropped the movie like 40 points for me. It's about two friends that are what the fuck was their quote on it? It was so funny. Whatever. I thought the whole cast was amazing. Pretty much top to bottom. Bakalova is going to be like I think a huge star in this industry as we move forward. And we said that even after like Borat 2 or whatever. I really liked it because it was like super compact, like really really tight. It kind of just like gives you like the quick setup, the sort of like journey into like what we're going to be like solving or a little whatever it is, and like the sort of personal issues that all the people are having. It's very very quick with all of that, which I love because I feel like with slashers and a lot of like whodunit things, they can tend to be a little bit more long-winded while they're trying to like like show you every single angle of what's happening. But like this is so simple, so well put together, and just I just liked everything about it, like the characters, like the music. Like everything that they made in this movie. I love the house too. Great house, like for a tiny, compact little thriller. I thought Pete Davidson, this is one of the funny roles I think I've seen him in like a very quick little like dose. Thought he really, really crushed it. Lee Pace awesome as well. Very creepy. Like the perfect level of creepy for like the older guy, the older boyfriend for the girlfriend
just
group, which every friend
himbo.
group has.
No, very funny.
Which he accepts, by the way. I don't know if you saw that clip. He's like, "Yeah, I love being called a himbo. It's like my favorite thing." Is that which is awesome. But yeah, this is a movie I would easily recommend to basically anyone. Like I don't think there's anyone I could think of who would come out of this theater and be like, "Wow, that movie really sucked." Like it has something for everyone. Oh, you disagree?
I have a caveat on this movie, but I do love it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but I think I would land at like it'd be like an 84. But very enjoyable, not gonna blow your doors off or anything, but really, really enjoyable time at the movies, which is something that we are sorely lacking all the time. And I just love that.
I just love shit that's different. I was like, nice. A good give me more whodunits. Though the more you give me whodunits, they're probably gonna start sucking. But give me more
23rd.
Hope they come out with Knives Out too.
Got the first picture. Yeah, they put the first set photo from, or not set photo, just still image from Glass Onion, which looks sick.
Chris, you seem surprised I liked it so much.
No. I when you said one of my favorite movies of the year, that surprised me. I'm not.
Oh yeah, it's up. I mean, now let me blanket say that's like if I were to throw a net over 20 movies. It does tank off after the movies that have 90s, and they kind of all the same. Yeah, go ahead.
I need to really establish something here because I think that for its genre, I think that this is one of the better horror whodunits. I would actually put it somewhat in the slasher category. I don't want to get into semantics, but I think for what it is, it's well made. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but as somebody who watches a lot of movies, I think one thing I appreciate about myself, and I don't like talking myself up ever, but I can like any genre of film. Like I can enjoy 1917 just as much as I can enjoy, Transformers. Like I think that movies with good characters, good writing, I'm all for no matter what. There's one exception. And I don't think we've ever talked about this on the show. I fucking hate horror movies. I've never liked them. I just think they're all full of lazy, boring, stupid millennials screaming and
Oh, Chris froze.
A24 got to him.
A24 finally got to Chris. He's just frozen.
That's a great face, though. That's going to be the Chris face.
Gooch is with your review and your caveat. Oh, he's back.
Am I back?
He's back.
Am I back?
You cut out right after you said millennials.
Okay, I'm gonna smash my fucking Wi-Fi with a hammer. This has happened so many goddamn times. It's happened on this show. It's happened on Money Shots. It's happened on Pick Central before. Hate it. Can't stand it. Can't win with it anymore. Anyway.
Did Pete set up your Wi-Fi too?
It's honestly ironic that the same issues that people seem to have about the Barstool HQ Wi-Fi I have about my own Wi-Fi at this place. It's time is a flat circle.
We have better Wi-Fi again, though, for what it's worth in this office. For those who don't follow Barstool Saga, it has improved again.
Look, I don't like the genre, and people are going to get mad at me for that, and that's fine. But personal taste is a thing. Like explaining the Marvel Cinematic Universe to a 65-year-old, like my dad. It probably isn't that appealing, but I fell in love with those movies. I like that universe. So like horror movies, they don't do a whole lot for me. So it's why like I can't really even give this a grade. I think if you like this genre and you like movies of this type, it's better than most, I would say. There is some funny dialogue, and you guys brought it up legitimately, and this is my biggest compliment towards the movie. It has one of my favorite endings of the year. The ending actually made me laugh out loud, and I didn't see it coming, but I thought, and I should have. It's one of those endings that's so obvious that it's not obvious. You know what I mean? Like when you see how it concludes, like, of course, there's no reason why that would have happened in the first act for it not to come back around in the third act. So I think as a movie, I actually think for what it's trying to be, it's extremely well made. I don't care for the genre, and that's on me. But it's why it's hard to give a rating, because I do recommend it for people who are fans of these kind of movies. I wouldn't watch it again just because it's not for me, but I do suggest if this stuff appeals to you, you're probably going to love it. It is smarter than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it is. Again, I hate using the word smart with movies so much because like you end up sounding kind of like an ass, but it just is. It's a smart. It's not smart in a way of like, oh, you really need to be an intelligent human. It's just like, oh fuck, damn, like they did a great job weaving this together. What's your big caveat though, Gucci? You seem to like it because you saw it before all of us did.
I love this movie. I'm at a 90, so I mean I really fucking love this. My two caveats, and when you said you think everyone would love it, my caveats are if you go in expecting a straight horror slasher, it's just not. I think the marketing on the movie was very misleading. I think it was bad marketing. You're going to be wildly disappointed because that's just not what it is. It's more. It leans way more into thriller comedy territory than it does horror comedy or straight slasher. The other caveat is I think you have to have some baseline for Gen Z. Like, are you close in age to Gen Z? Do you spend time with them? Because if you don't, a lot of that humor is just going to fly over your head and you're just going to fucking hate every single character in this movie because you're not going to understand what it's satiring. Like, it'd be like watching like a baseball satire, like Major League, and really not knowing anything about baseball or not being a fan of baseball. You just fucking hate the movie. Yeah. So those are my caveats. I love this movie. I think it's one of the funnier movies I've seen in years, which I didn't expect. I thought Rachel Sennott was as funny a character I've seen forever. Good. It reminded me, and what it reminded me of was like Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover. It's just such a fucking absurd character. But from like the line she's delivering about her fucking podcast to just like the physical comedy, like when Maria Bakalova's character is dancing with Lee Pace and she just come over and just like pushes her out of the way and just starts dancing with Lee. Like that shit killed me. Like it was very, very funny. The twist at the end, I mean, it worked for me. I could see where people wouldn't like it, but I liked it. I thought it was funny seeing Pete Davidson cut himself. Also, the Pete Davidson monologue where he's like, "I just look like I fuck." Very funny.
Yeah, that's great.
I look like I fuck.
his whole monologue.
Connor O'Malley. Connor O'Malley showing up. What the fuck?
Well, very random. I love the Connor. He's so old. He looks so old there. I don't know why he looks so old, but he looked ancient.
Because everyone else there looked like they were like 10 years old.
Yeah, but it was funny. Just why is Connor O'Malley here? Yeah, no, I really love this movie. I want to see it again as soon as possible. I haven't had the chance to, but good Lord, it was fun. Wearing the pink cowgirl hat for Rachel.
It was fun.
Performance.
It is fun in that way, and I think to what you said though too. Like I agree, and I've seen reviews and listened to where people said like, yeah, I don't connect on the level. I liked it, but I don't connect on that level with it, because of not being Gen Z, not being around that, all that. But I appreciate that they didn't care to try and cater to everyone on that.
Yeah.
Like that is where a lot of the movies like this, where we have these. Also, this is like another movie that we're like talking about, our show, where it has to do with like sensationalism and the spectacle and everything. It's like a lot of movies have like oddly all sort of had the like
the same thing
in a very small like bit, but like they're all sort of saying the same thing. I just appreciate that there was no attempt to try and bridge all the audiences to getting it. Like it's very clearly intended for someone who's in Gen Z or around it or can associate, but doesn't. It understands young people in that way, and it makes the movie work. Because if it didn't, man, it would suck. You know what it reminds me of? Like when I think of movies with young people and something like this, I think of like Truth or Dare.
Yeah. This one, I think that they part of that understanding really helped it too, because it helped make it so much tighter. It's like if you don't get it, you don't get it. We're moving on. We're not going to sit here.
It moves quick
to you. Like, yeah, dude, that was like an hour and a half. That was great, which I love. We don't get that anymore. It's fucking awesome. And for it to be that short and be that like gratifying is just so something I love about that, man. Really liked it.
He's a vet.
That was funny. Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, no, they did it. Again, this is the type of thing that it's how many years? 10 years of A24?
Yeah. Saturday was their 10-year anniversary.
Again, they do have duds. They don't only ever make good movies. We talked about that before, but for the most part, they typically nail it. Like they typically put hammer to nail, and they find a way to do it. And this is just one of those. This is why this is a movie. This is like a movie, a better example of why I trust them more than something like like the next Moonlight comes out. Like I expect movies like that from them. Like I expect the big dramas with the, huge directors who know how to fucking write these incredible stories. Like those are great. I'm not undermining or demeaning what Moonlight is doing. Amazing, but I expect those from them. This is the shit that makes me trust A24. Like the different stuff. The stuff that's a little off the beaten path, that isn't, an Oscar contender for Best Picture, but comes in and he delivers a really well done script, a really well done story, perfectly casted. Everyone worked out great.
Yeah, I think they produced this one too. It wasn't just a distributed film, so props to them.
Yeah, just awesome stuff. So definitely check out Bodies if you get a chance. The caveat of slasher, you didn't know what to expect going into it. It's definitely more of like a whodunit. which I don't know. Like, if they marketed as a whodunit, do you think it would have done well? Is that why they didn't do that? Was it?
I don't know. And they also had probably my least favorite poster, maybe ever.
Not a good poster.
Bold font. This is not a safe space. Was just that's a fucking terrible.
If you look closely, you can see Betty from Spider-Man in the poster too. It's unbelievable.
I was just about to say, did Marvel make this poster?
Yeah.
Yep.
Unbelievable. What's next week? Beast did come out with Idris Elba.
I'm hearing it's like the most mess shit ever. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Also, Orphan First Kill is on Paramount Plus.
No, we did forget to mention that Idris Elba.
Oh yeah, I forgot to include that story.
Idris Elba wanted to cast his daughter as his fictional daughter in the movie Beast, but he's like, yeah, I couldn't cast her because our chemistry reads weren't right. Like, bro, that's your daughter. How bad of an actress must she be that you couldn't cast her?
But I appreciate that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wouldn't talk to him for 3 weeks afterwards.
Yeah. I get bad chemistry, bad vibes for my daughter.
She's auditioning to play a role which she literally is in real life and just couldn't make it believable.
That's fucking crazy. That's how bad she was.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do next week. There's a bunch of different options. I think we're gonna talk the Monte Teo documentary as well.
I definitely think that thing's taking over the world right now.
Yeah. Here's the summation of the Monte Teo documentary. Fuck Deadspin for trying to escape this, acting like the good guys or something.
Yeah, there's some wild shit in there. Is
there anything else coming out this weekend?
Crazy.
Really nothing?
3000, the new George Miller movie.
Okay.
3,000 years of longing. Yeah, Idris Elba, Tilda Swinton.
Talk about Dragon Ball Super.
We could. I mean, that
might
might
be Dragon Ball Super talk. That'd be hilarious because it'd be me and Goochman explaining anime to you guys, which I think would actually rock.
I mean, I've watched enough anime now, but not Dragon Ball, so it'd be right over the old head. We'll figure something out.
See, so Piccolo was actually Gohan's dad, and Goku had nothing to do with it. Yeah,
it kind of played that up pretty hard.
It's apparently great though, right?
It was okay.
Oh,
I like Broly.
Oh no, it's doing well. That's right.
Yeah, it's doing well. It's the first anime movie to do #1 at the domestic box office, and it's opening weekend since Pokemon. The first.
That's very cool.
That's cool. Wait, it was #1 at the box office this weekend?
Yep. It like doubled up on Beast.
Where have I been? Wow.
Dude, these anime movies are starting to really pick up steam. They crush. States. Like the people go the videos of people at these anime like theater showings is insane. Especially
like the Minions bit.
For like the One Piece movie, like people in France and like all over the world are like they're like literally like throwing raves inside the theater like while this shit is going. I would leave the theater if that happened to me, but I mean it's becoming an absolute event. There we go.
We're everywhere. We're Legion. We're gonna get you into like Demon Slayer, Chris. We'll figure you out. We'll get something for you.
Next up, interview with Michelle Monaghan. A lot of Tom Cruise ass talk in this one. Enjoy. All right, we are very excited to be joined for the first time ever by Michelle Monaghan. How are you doing? How's everything going?
I am really well. Nice to be here, you guys.
We have a lot to talk about. Well, let's get right into it. Echoes, cool. Netflix, August 19th. We always read a synopsis at the beginning, and this is a longer one. So for those who don't know, here it is. Echoes is a mystery thriller about two identical twins, played both by you. A two-role, we will get into that, who share a dangerous secret since they were children. They have secretly swapped lives, culminating in a double life as adults. They share two homes, two husbands, and a child that everything in their perfectly choreographed world is thrown into disarray when one of the sisters goes missing. Is this like an actor's dream? Has this ever been a dream of yours to play multiple people who are like yourself? Like they look like you. It's not like it's you and then somebody in like this crazy disguise. Like, has that been a dream of yours ever?
No, I can't say that it's been like an active dream to be like, oh, I'd love to play two roles. I'd love to play twins. However, I'm an actor and I'm always in search of the next challenge. Generally speaking, over the kind of the span of my career, which is now fortunately so been, 20 years, I've been able to kind of dabble in a lot of the different genres, which has been so awesome. But I've never approached something to this kind of level, which is like playing dual roles. And so when I looked at this, I was like, well, I guess this is like the next obvious thing. I don't know. Like it scared the shit out of me, to be honest. And it really, I felt so compelled to do it because when I read the first 3 episodes, what they sent to me, I kind of thought I had it figured out. I really didn't think there were two people. I just really thought it was like one person playing, and when I got to the end of the first episode, I went, oh my God. And then I read the second and the third, and I went, oh, wow, there's something really here. And so I said yes, but then right on the heels of saying yes, like I have to do this, I was like, oh shit, now I really have to do this. So I was very excited at the challenge, but also just incredibly fearful of it as well.
So did you find like any trouble with that, trying to play those two characters? Because I know that we just interviewed someone who played two different characters in the same series in back-to-back seasons, and they were very different characters. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of like, for us, it's awesome because we get to do two totally different things on like a set, especially that you love. So, but was there any difficulty to that though?
Yeah, it's kind of a great question. I mean, the first thing that kind of popped into my brain is like, do I actually have the creative bandwidth to do this? Like, can I actually come up with two very different personas? I mean, I think as an actor, and I guess I can really only speak for myself, but I always sort of think like, shit, like when is this going to run dry? Like, when is this creative? Like, how much like more do I have? I mean, I don't know. And now I've got to like somehow, individuate like two very distinct lives. Can I do it? And then when I started to develop the characters, it became apparent that I was going to be able to do that. And so then I actually felt comfortable in the skins, I guess, that I kind of created for these two women. And then, but that was very different to then executing it, right? And getting on, in front of the camera, and then dealing with like the intricacy and the technicality of the specific cameras that we were using, the timing of it, not necessarily having a scene partner, which I usually have, and I'm super duper inspired by the way. Like, I love my fellow actors because they just like throw curveballs all the time, and it totally inspires a great performance from me, or something different and unexpected that I wouldn't have thought to do on my own. So those were all like new challenges that were presented to me as a result of taking on the role. So, but then again, that was like another challenge that I was like, okay, cool. Let's like play with this big fat camera, and thankfully, once I realized, I was like, wait, how do I act opposite myself? Like, there's got to be someone else there. We found this incredible actress who acted as my stand-in on the other side. So she worked just as hard as I did. She knew all the dialogue of both sisters, and, she would throw those curveballs at me. Like, we worked together, and I was able to say, like, I really want to elicit this kind of response on this side. This is the performance I'm looking for this side. We need options for the editing room. And so she was such a great partner in helping me be able to execute the kinds of performances that I wanted from scene to scene.
So your showrunner is Vanessa Ghazi, right? I'm pronouncing it right, or is it?
Ghazi, Vanessa.
Ghazi. Okay, so I couldn't find it pronounced anywhere. Oh,
no. I know, man. I mean, hey, listen, I still get Michelle Moynihan. I get Monaghan. I get it all. So you're like talking to the chick who knows. But by the way, thanks for getting my last name right. I appreciate it.
Moynihan is the guy in SNL. That's like an easy. I can separate that.
Right. So, but yeah, our show was created by a woman named Vanessa Ghazi, and coincidentally, all of our directors are lady directors. So this is a really like kind of female driven show, which was great. I was super proud to be able to collaborate with all these women.
Yeah, so that was kind of a good segue into the question I was going to ask, which is just like, do you find the writing for female characters to be more organic when it comes from an actual woman versus a man, or same thing with directing, I guess?
I mean, God, it's such a tough question. I will say in this particular instance, I was happy because I really do feel like it's a kind of a love letter to siblings, a love letter to sisters. And just like this kind of real inherent and unique bond that sisters have, specifically twins, identical twins, which I think we all know is like, everybody understands, like there's a real like solid connection mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically that twins possess. And so I loved that she understood this very unique kind of sisterly bond. She has sisters as well. And then she enlisted, directors, as well as, our showrunner, Brian Yorkie. Obviously he had a big part in this as well, in choosing the directors to tell the story. I felt like the women were just very connected. I'm not to say that like a man doesn't. I think that I've had the experience of working with both men and women. And I think that regardless of what the material it is, it's our job to be able to communicate, whether it's a male director, female director, female audience, a male audience. It's our job as actors to just communicate and convince and convey. And so I really try to take out of like, this is my job to be able to tell the story in the best and the most authentic way that the writer intended. And so, but in this instance, it was really nice to have all these ladies on board with me.
We'll throw it to a man though. One of our friends though, Matt Bomer. We've interviewed Matt Bomer many times.
Oh my God.
Is there any more calming than him? Like he is the most calming, nice person. Like it's been a while, but he's really, the best.
I would get lost in those baby blues. I mean, it's so insane. Like what a nice guy he is. And truly you just nailed it. He's so calming. I mean,
he's human serotonin. That's what we described as human serotonin. He's just
walking. He's just like he like drinks that shit,
Yeah.
I will say, like there were days where I was so overwhelmed, especially at the very beginning, because I was like, there's all the buildup of like prepping any gig, and then all of a sudden, like on your first day, like if you're not nervous, like you haven't done your job, you know what I mean? And I was like, I thought I could have like a panic attack at any moment. And he was like, whatever you need from me, Michelle. He was like living down the hall from me. He was like, you just call me in the middle of the night. I'll come, I'll rehearse lines with you, like whatever, like I'll take you out for lunch. Like he was like doing things for me, like leaving food and drinks and things for me, because he knew I couldn't have time to grocery shop. Like he was leaving things outside my door. Like that's the kind of he's like a gentle man and talented to boot. And, the interesting thing about what I discovered, which I wasn't anticipating when I started to dive into playing the two different roles, is that I was going to have the support of my castmates as characters and the way that they actually treat these individual women. So I don't know if that makes sense, but half the work was already done, which is the way that their relationship with each unique woman. And so it wasn't so much of me having to like individuate, I guess, like work so hard. I kept forgetting that, like, oh my gosh, no, I have all these supporting characters. They're going to help tell the story of these two very different women. And that's exactly what happened, like each and every day. And he was amazing. I was just texting with him.
The best,
absolute best. Do you have a favorite mystery story or character that you drew from it all for this?
Gosh, I would say like tonally there was like Sharp Objects. Sure. I felt like was a story that kind of felt in terms of structurally, because we work in a lot of flashbacks and the story is revealed a lot through the younger versions. So I sort of felt like that was something to be able to pull from, because I feel like there was just a lot of like mystery and unknown. And that show is terrific, absolutely riveting. And Amy's a friend and she's incredible. So I guess like that was kind of like where my headspace was at in terms of tonally where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. We'd love to talk to you about some of your other stuff as well, because we're such big fans of yours, including your participation in Mission Impossible, one of our favorite franchises ever.
Yes.
We're like, I would actually say we're big Marvel and Star Wars fans, but I think if we were to gatekeep a franchise, we might gatekeep Mission Impossible. That's how big a fan we've become.
That's an easy one.
I cosplayed to the premiere of Mission Impossible Fallout. I dressed up as August Walker, which was Henry Cavill's character, to the actual thing after the trailers. But we'd love to talk to you about Mission Impossible, specifically 3, just working with Philip Seymour Hoffman, just what he was like, because he was just an absolute pleasure of an actor, obviously, but his role in that is just so menacing and so crazy.
You know, I remember, because that was we shot that at the beginning of the shoot. And I will say we were shooting that scene for 3 days on set. And I remember the bruises that I had. I remember how intense it was. And when I watch it, it kind of takes me back there. I get this thing where I have this bulge that happens. I have this vein in the front of my forehead. And when I get really, really excited or scared, or it's a very authentic indication of like my realness, probably. And I will say when I watch that, I get chills because I see it. And I remember I felt it because he was so, so intense. And I remember the conversations that we were having leading up to it, because he was really, really nervous about playing this character, like this really sinister character. I think he was really, like, as I remember correctly, kind of like, he didn't want to come off caricature. I can never say that word, but
no, neither. It's okay.
Right? I'll let you take it and I'll take the ish. Right. Yeah. But like that was really, it was really, really important to him. And I mean, he is such a fine actor. And I just remember that it was just so, so important to him to have it feel very real. And that was the thing. He played it really real. It was just like kind of a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. And that's when you feel like, oh God, somebody's kind of diabolical, and he's just like, hey, I just, and it was such a choice just to play it like that it felt really, really scary. And Tom is such an emotional actor, such a physical actor. In that room for 3 days, I remember coming out of it feeling really, really intense. And then I remember JJ, there's a long shot and I could barely see the camera. And the head was down, he was exhausted. And he gave me the best direction, actually, because this is the very beginning of my career. And he took it and he said it was because it was the series he did with Jennifer Garner. What was it?
Alias. Yeah.
Alias. Yeah. Sorry. And he was like, Michelle, he's like, keep your chin down, but just look up with your eyes. And I was like, what? And they were just like, just look up with your eyes, And I was like, okay. And I know that's the shot they use and the thing. And there was something like just so intense about not like lifting it. And he was just like, always, he's like, Jennifer does it all. He's like, I've told her, he's like, there's something about the chin down, eyes up, take it with you.
Very primal. Yeah.
It's very primal. And I've thought about it in other things that I've done, it's unique. Like you think of like, or you remember like the one piece of direction that you take. And for me, honestly, I never studied acting. So, every gig, especially starting out for me was like acting 101, acting 202. And that gig was one of my very first big deals. And I learned so much from Tom as a professional, and JJ in that, and Philip. Like I was just like drawing from everyone. So
pretty solid group, right?
Yeah,
solid group of 3 people.
Yeah, man. And just a solid franchise. Just so much fun. I'm just so, been so proud to be a part of that for so long.
Well, then you came back, quick cameo at the end of another one, and then Mission Impossible Fallout, which your scenes were obviously intense, but also they were the emotional weight of the movie there, where when we saw it in theaters, I was like, oh, fuck. No. So, but what about from the directing standpoint, Chris McCoy? I mean, just like, we think it's one of the best action movies made probably ever. What is it about him though, and his vision? Because he really, I mean, he didn't reinvent action, but like that movie, people are like, holy shit, there's no close-ups and shaky cams and cuts. Like, it is truly like, you see everything. It is crazy. Well, there's something about him that really separates him, you think?
Wow, he's amazing. And you're right about that film. I think that film blew all of us away when we saw it. We shot in New Zealand, that whole sequence, Tom just like flying in on a chopper, flying out on a chopper. Like, you want to jump in the chopper with me? Yeah, let's go see some glaciers. He's just like, the two of them have such an incredible creative bond that they finish each other's sentences. They can write something in a moment. I think this is no exaggeration, I didn't get those pages for that whole sequence until I was like literally driving to set at like 5 a.m. I got like 15 pages and they were like, all right, this is the scene with Ving. You guys are and I was like, what? He does what? And even under all of that pressure, as a crew, Chris has such a handle. He has such a strong vision, and he has such a very calm, grounding way of executing it. I've never seen him get flustered. Like, he just doesn't get flustered at all. And he's just about the easiest person to talk to. I feel really comfortable with him, and he really loves the character. He really loves the character, that relationship a lot. Like, he really loves the heart of that and what I think Julia and Ethan have or had. And so he really wanted to honor it in that. And I think he did. It was beautiful. I'm really, really proud of that scene at the end. And in fact, it was such a good scene. And about a month later, Chris called me and he said, Monaghan, sorry to tell you. He's like, I think I got to fly you into London because the focus was soft on your close-up for the final scene at the hospital bed. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Chris, you're killing me. I can't reshoot that scene. Like, it was magic. It was magic on the day. And it turns out that like he went back and looked at it like a month later. And he was like, oh, no, it's fine. It wasn't soft at all. It's like,
I gotta go back. I was like, you just gave me an excuse to rewatch tonight.
Yeah. Because we were so connected. Tom and I, we have a really nice relationship. Like, we have great chemistry. And I was like, oh man, that's like magic. That's like, you never want to have to go back and do something like that as emotional as, and as truthful as that. In fact, it's probably going again. But and he was just like, no big deal. He's like, oh my, you'll get there. You'll do it. And I'm like, no, man, like, I don't want to do it. And then sure enough, I didn't have to, but he's just really chill, and he's really supportive. And it's so funny to say it, but like, he believes in his team. Like, he believes in all of the actors, and he loves them. And so, he's just brought so much to that franchise. It's fantastic.
All right, we want to do something with you we call the 6-pack. So it's a 6-pack of questions. You can give rapid fire answers. You can expound a little bit, all up to you. The first one, you were obviously in True Detective, one of the single greatest seasons of television ever that you got to star in. Amazing job, by the way. You're really, really good in it. We'd love to know, though, a very serious question.
Yeah.
What does Matthew McConaughey smell like?
That is so funny. He doesn't smell like anything. He doesn't use anything that is like, everything that he uses is fragrance free.
See, like, the way I look at him, I thought he was either going to smell like on either end of the spectrum. He's going to smell amazing or not great.
He's going to smell like he came out of like, Cheech and Chong maybe, or something.
Yes,
like
exactly.
No. And it's so funny because Yeah, no, he doesn't smell like, he just smells like Woody.
The first time we've ever gotten the no smell. We've never gotten that one. Okay. What is one role you've auditioned for, really wanted, but didn't get?
Oh, the role in Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, that's a great. Sometimes we don't get any answer, so I'm glad you had them right away.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so funny because I tell this to people all the time, and because it's happened to me multiple times. But this is when it first happened to me, because of course, as an actor, you audition a shit ton, right? And there's more that you don't get than you do get. So it's important for people to know. So I didn't get that gig. And, I remember my mom, of course, my agent, I was like, everything happens for a reason, there's a reason. And sure enough, I didn't get that gig, but then I got like the next week that I got to go and do was a movie called North Country, directed by Nikki Caro, with Charlize Theron and Woody. Woody starred in that as well. That was the first time I worked with Woody. And it was just so interesting. Like, I am such a firm believer in like a lot of this stuff, like you just don't end up getting because you're not.
We hear that a lot. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, another great example of this is what got me the Mission Impossible job was I was in a movie called Constantine with Keanu Reeves. Yep. Francis Lawrence directed it. I kind of had a significant role. The movie was really big and too long. And I remember I got a call. It was one of my very first roles. And I remember getting a call from Francis Lawrence, and he was like, Michelle, I just want to let you know, I gotta cut your role out of the film. And I was like, oh man, that's a bummer. And I called my agent. I was like, do I have to give the money back? Like I was so freaked out because I was paying off my mom. Shit. And she's like, of course not. But what ended up happening is that those scenes were put on a tape somewhere and kind of made the rounds of Hollywood. And they landed in J.J. Abrams' hands. Huh. And J.J. Abrams saw those scenes, which I've never seen, by the way. And he was like, oh my gosh, I want this girl to fly in. I was working on North Country down in Albuquerque. They flew in the scenes for MI3. I prepped them. They flew me to Universal one weekend, and I walk in. And Tom is like dangling there, and he's doing reshoots for War of the Worlds. Yeah. And in that minute, JJ takes me over to Tom. Tom comes down and overwalks Steven Spielberg and Tom Cruise. And in one moment, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like two of my heroes. I've just died. And that was it. And then I auditioned with Tom and JJ and myself. And, a few days later, I found out, Tom and JJ called me and told me I got the gig. But it was like, that's the thing. Like, just because you get cut out, just because you don't get the gig, like you never, ever, ever know. And I'm a real optimist like that, but I've got so many experiences that have led me to believe that. Just little reasons to be positive, even if something doesn't work out.
So you mentioned Tom Cruise. That's one of our next questions. You've worked with Tom Cruise a lot. We ask anyone who's worked with Tom Cruise this question.
This is a huge question.
This is huge. We're gonna have to
I'm actually looking away because this is a big question.
We need to verify something with you. Our producer's going to pull up an image for you of Tom Cruise in the movie, the 2008 movie Valkyrie. He has a scene where that's one of our coworkers. His ass. Do you think that's his real ass?
Oh my God.
It's a hot internet debate.
It's a big debate on the
we have asked everybody.
Yes.
He says it's real because he's been asked about this.
I mean, is it real and it's just padded for stunts?
That's what we were saying. Like, it looks like it has to be a padded butt, but he's like, no, that's just a genuine artifact right there.
Yeah, it might be, or is that like a stunt double? But he would never have a stunt double. I don't know. It's the closest I've ever gotten to it, so I don't.
I mean, just the thought of him dangling out of a helicopter and doing his real stunts, but having the fake ass is like our favorite thing in the world.
Oh my gosh! That's amazing. Wow.
You're as close because you were in a full. Yeah, you're in a full, like a huge role, multiple movies. Like, so you were one of the big ones we've ever had to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Valkyrie. Yeah.
Exactly. That's just, I can't unsee that.
And we're gonna bring that Iowa picture back up.
I was just gonna say, you saw me. I was like, wait, that's like Hawkeyes right there.
So rank these Iowans: Ashton Kutcher, Elijah Wood, or this is our coworker Trent.
He's a coworker,
huge Iowa fan. I mean, look at these Hawkeye.
Well, he's number one. I mean, obviously, look at I mean, he
also occasionally cameos on the show The Bachelor and wheels away the luggage now and then. So he is like a Iowa star. Yeah.
All right. Well, he's number one.
Okay.
You can never see Ashton Kutcher with those moves at an Iowa game.
Yeah, never, ever.
Thank you so much. August 19th, Netflix, Echoes, not just one role, 2 roles, and we'll hype up our good friend Matt Bomer too.
Yeah,
we haven't talked to him in a while. Yeah. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good luck with the show. Yeah. Hope we'll get to talk to you again.
Oh man, I'd love that. That would be super awesome.
And so I'm gonna go rewatch Mission Impossible Fallout.
Me too. I'm gonna rewatch Valkyrie actually. Now.
You may have to go watch Valkyrie though. You may need to defend me.
Exactly. All right, deal.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
That was one we talked about before, Kenjack and I. We always say we won't ask it if it doesn't work, but it always does work. We've never not asked the question.
It's never been too serious of an interview where it didn't work.
She fucking loved it. She loved it. You just never know. And the closer they are, and obviously she's very close to Tom, the closer they are with them, you're like, all right, I don't want to make this, come off like we're making fun of him. We also, I mean, we were gushing over Mission Impossible, which she gave some great insight into just the directing of the third Mission Impossible and Phillips. Any story hearing about Philip Seymour Hoffman act.
Her Constantine story was really cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, the fact that Constantine led to nuts. So that was a really cool interview. We still just we haven't gotten to the bottom of this. We're just gonna have to. What's the next level? Is it?
We'll just interview Tom Cruise. That's it.
Yeah, I think it's just Tom Cruise.
What would it take to get him? He doesn't really do a ton of interviews.
He doesn't do press.
McQuarrie would be the guy.
Why?
I think
happen?
That's the guy we can get.
Did something happen on a press tour?
McQuarrie's gettable, I think, for us. I think that'll be our actual.
I think we could
directed.
We could definitely get him.
Does Tom Cruise have like a product on the side? Does he have anything on the side that he does?
Scientology.
I was about to say, let's interview the guy.
Invert to Scientology.
Yeah.
I was about to say who directed.
No, cannot interview the director of Valkyrie.
Let's interview the director of Valkyrie. I didn't realize it was Bryan Singer. That's a big no.
So really, we just kind of cut Kenneth Branagh.
Written by Christopher McQuarrie. I did not know that Valkyrie is written by McHugh. That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So that could be the guy. Maybe that's it. Or Kenneth Branagh. Kenneth Branagh's gettable. I think we got offered him once.
I could see. Yeah, it's got to be.
I still think I think the convert. I mean, how set in your guys' religions are you? If you have any, I mean, we could easily.
I'm not religious, so let's do it.
Hey,
sell it out.
How hard can it
sell
be?
out to get Cruise in here?
Yeah,
there's a Scientology. I think it's up in Lincoln Square. They have a church up there.
Yep.
That I think is the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, they run in the same circles.
which would be. I know it's what you're talking about. That way, which is a segue to say, yes, we will talk about the Monte Teo
documentary. We'll do that when we want to
week.
get Trey Parker.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. For Ken, Jack, Gooch, Chris, I'm Jeff D. Lowe. We will talk to you next week.
Watch Cherry.